We are testing. It looks like we're good. I think we're live. Are we live? Okay, look at that.
What?
We are live. Hey
We're
guys,
live?
what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Melanated Files Podcast. This is episode number 12. And it seems like I'm not sure what's going on with Jay right now. She seems like she don't know that it's live. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no, I know
I'm like,
that.
it's live. I said it like 5 times.
I
But we are here,
know.
guys. What's up? She's back. She's to
Hi,
my right.
guys.
And I hope you guys had a wonderful week. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Today, some of you guys may have been on last week. I'm not sure. But the topic was about black love. Something that's very, very important. A lot of you guys had a lot to say. Some of you guys wanted to call again and complete your thoughts. Some people got disconnected with one person accidentally. So if you're watching this, please call back again today. And also, Wise Nubian, I believe you also said you wanted to share something more. So feel free to call again today. So the topic again is black love, and the reason why this thing came about was I was having a lot of conversations about black love. A lot of black women actually were talking to me about the fact that it would appear that a lot of black men aren't interested in them, and there's nothing wrong with these women. And when they talk about the different groups of guys, or not even that, when they talk about the what do you call it, um, the the explanation that the guys give them, right, as to why they don't want to go further or be more than this or that, seems not to make any sense to me, really. So there's a disconnect, and this is a conversation that is sorry, this is a conversation that has been persistent for a long time. Most of you guys, or some of you guys, said last week that this is nothing new. I know it's nothing new, but the reason why I was compelled, to do this was because for some reason, over a short period of time, I was having a lot of the same conversations with a lot of different people, and that's why being solution driven, as you guys know, the point of this discussion, this podcast, is to really try to work out solutions together to see if there's something that can be done in regards to what we're facing, right? Is this an issue that you're privy to?
Um, yeah.
You
Although a lot
you
of
seem
no,
a bit
well, because
reluctant.
I'm aware of it, but I think the thing is a lot of my friends are married. A lot of my close girlfriends are married, so like I don't necessarily when I'm having conversations really hear that.
Mhm.
hmm
Okay, so there you have
But
it.
I do
There you
know
have it.
many. I do know many who are not yet and are wanting, but like I'm not necessarily having in-depth conversations with
Oh,
these people.
oh, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, well, there you have it from Jay, right? But for some reason, I took note of the conversations that we were having, right? So me and these people, and I'm like, okay, I took a mental note of it, and then it persisted. One person had this to say, another person had that to say, and I'm like, well, this is something that I'm not really privy to. I don't really know, or I never knew that it was this deep, that these people were interested. And for some reason, the black men overall seems not to be moving in that direction. And it seems like from last week, as you guys can tell, it seems like a lot of people shared the same sentiments on both sides. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to provide a platform where you guys can call in, both black men and black women, and talk about the issue. So, for instance, a black woman would call and say and give her take on what she's experiencing and why she think this is the case, right? And what she think a solution would be. And then a black man can call and say, well, this is what it is from his point of view, right? What he thinks the issue is and the solution as well. So that's what we're trying to foster. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, but at least we're having a discussion, not just to talk. And because last week we had some really good insight from callers, right? And the thing is, I'm not giving my opinion per se in the discussion. We just want to facilitate it. So you guys call, and sometimes I'm not saying anything because I just want the information to get out there. Because one thing that I felt was happening was that there was a disconnect. So what the black women were saying, for some reason, it seemed like the black men had no idea that this was a reality. Because I'm like, if you guys knew this, why then would this continue? Right? Why then would you have these women here and they're expressing this, but it's not reaching over? Because I'm like, if these women are saying these things, and the guys are not responsive. They don't know what's going on. That's my mindset. So I felt like if one group, like the men by themselves, are saying one thing, and the women by themselves are saying another, but for some reason there's no dialogue between both cohorts. I felt like if I could facilitate that, and just that, so you can so men can understand the women and vice versa, we can maybe arrive at an amicable solution and something can happen. That's what this is about. I'm not sure if a solution is going to come from it, but we want to facilitate this discussion and hopefully something happens.
Yeah, I just want to say something that I just read. One of the comments was, "I love black women, but I just can't date them." We'd like to hear why.
Okay, so even a comment like that. Wait, is that outside?
Yeah, that's outside, I think.
It was a
Yeah,
truck, right?
yeah, I think it's
Okay.
outside.
Because I thought it was because this I gotta get a new cord for this thing. But yeah, okay. So even a comment like that, someone said that comment that my wife just read. A comment like that is something that you need to divulge more. You need to elaborate because that I'm not sure what's going on, right? But we really look. Of course, I keep saying it over and over again. Of course, I love my wife. I love black women overall. You understand? And I feel I'm not sure. Look, I'm not sure how this will be perceived, or received, but I don't know. I feel a little bit sad, emotional about some of the things that I've been hearing, and for some, I don't even know. This might seem a way, but I guess I'm in sort of like protector mode. I don't know. I feel like I guess that's kind of like my personality, where sometimes I'm like I want to try to do something to help.
Yeah,
You
okay, I
understand? So I'm driven
understand.
to
I
help. So I'm like,
understand.
I want to do something because when I'm having these conversations, I'm like, man, I'm like, what can I do? I feel a way. I'm like, can I solve this? And I can't. I can't duplicate myself, right? So I'm one person, right? So I'm like, I can't help you. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I'm like, if we can find, we can get something going, then a solution can be had, hopefully. And the thing is, we need to link arms, right? Like hand in hand, and we're just moving forward, right? We're moving forward as a unit. Okay, so like black men, black women moving forward. If we're gonna lambast the negative stereotype and repair the image of black people globally and all these things, it can't just be a black man doing it or a black woman. It has to be black men and women, because we constitute what's called black people. Right? You got black men, black women, black kids, right? So it's like a unit, right? So
Yeah.
all of us have to be working together to achieve that end. So that's what we're doing, right? A lot of people last week, people spoke about, you guys can listen to that on the podcast, right? The Melanated Files Podcast. You can search it and find it on all streaming platforms, I believe. And also, you can find that episode on this channel as well, right? People spoke about this issue being psychological, right? People spoke about it being, it has something to do with the parenting. It has something to do with the music and all these things. And there's so many things, so many reasons that people attributed just this reality to. And I never knew it was so pervasive. It seems to be a lot deeper than I thought. And we just want to we're going to open the phone lines in like less than 5 minutes to get you guys to call in, if you guys want to call in this week, to really talk about it and see if we can have a solution. Hopefully, this might be the end of the Black Love in terms of series. I guess this is part two.
Yeah.
So this might be the end of it. If we see a reason to continue, we will. But I'm not trying to drag this thing out just for the sake of dragging it out. If we can facilitate a really fruitful discussion today, part two, we can do it and just end it there, and hopefully, and if there's something else we can do, we will do it. But I think it's important.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really interested to see further where it has to go, because I really do think it is a big issue that not more specifically, especially when it comes to like the amount of single black women who are wanting to date, marry black men and just can't seem to, get that.
Yeah.
And I think that's an issue. Like, if you genuinely want to be in a relationship, like, we've had episodes where, even the most recently released episode, where she said she wants to date black men, but she's living in Korea and none of the black men there want to date her.
She said that?
She said that
I
in
don't
the
recall.
interview.
She
She said she wanted to date, but she's
I think
like,
no. I think no.
the only people that were willing to date her were Korean men.
Was that what she said?
That's what she said.
I think
watched it. I watched the
I
episode.
edited
She
the
said
video.
you edited
but
the video.
but I'm
No,
like
but
I believe she said that she's open to date, but so far she's only dated.
yeah,
but she never.
she
Did
said,
she say that?
said that the Korean men are not her type.
I
She
know,
said that's
but
not
still,
the-
but did she say that? Did she say that black men never wanted to date her? I never heard that part.
No. What she said, she said the black men here don't only want to date Korean women. She said that.
No, okay. What she said was that most most foreigners that come to
Come
Korea,
here,
most foreign men that come, they usually come to date Korean women.
Korean
Right?
women.
I don't think
And
she said black men specifically.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
but I think, but I.
Yeah,
based
I don't
on
think
what-
she did.
Okay, maybe she didn't date, but I think I read into the line that that's not her. Like Korean men are not necessarily her type. And
Yeah.
those are
And
the only
those
people
are really
that-
strong words too, right? So like when they're using those words to say like are not, like you gotta really be careful with saying that.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Right, so it's if it's not, if you're not 100% sure, I think
Okay,
we should
well
just send people
maybe through my ears I heard.
I think to coin it like that or to phrase it like that is it's
Okay.
because it's someone else's words, like it's
fair,
like it's
fair,
really
fair.
important to
But
get it accurate.
But what I received from it is that who she wants to date, which I believe are black men, are not. Based on what I received from it was
Yeah, but that can also be attributed to the region.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It's like even last week I believe Gizmo called and he was talking about where he's located. He's in Japan. So because he's in Japan, it's like, well, you only have the pool is like this, right? You got to make the best of your circumstance. So if you're located in a part of the world where there's not a lot of black women, then you got to just work with what you got, right? So if you want to reside in a certain place and you would love to date a black woman, based on what he's saying, this is not me saying it. He's like, you know what? Well, you got to make the best of where you are, right?
Yeah.
If he would rather a black woman from Trinidad, but given that he's not there right now, he has to make the best of what he has. So if you got 3 cards that are good out of 4, then he'll just accept that and work with that, right? But it's so that's that, guys. So we're gonna open the lines, and hopefully you guys can call and let's see what you guys have to say about it. It's oh man, there's a lot. There's a lot, but you know what? Let's see what happens. I'm not sure where this is gonna go today, right? But hopefully we can have some people call in and give their thoughts. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open the lines, and if you're a black man or a black woman, we want you to call, especially if you have experience with what we're describing. If you're on the receiving end, for instance, if you're a black woman and you're trying to figure out what's really going on, then you can call in and tell us your experience, tell us what you think a solution is. And a black man who has that, it would be good if we could get a black man who has a perspective that for some reason you don't want to date a black woman for whatever reason. So someone like that who has that insight, if you're willing to call, please do, because we haven't had anyone really went deep in that. Most people so far maybe just spoke about a few issues, but they haven't explicitly said that, this is how I feel and this is the reason why.
The same viewer who said that he wants to but can't date black women, he said that black women today, especially in the U.S., are too masculine. So we would love to even hear if other black men...
Please call.
Yeah, please call. If other viewers believe that or have the same opinion, and what exactly do you mean by masculine in the sense of role, in the sense of like maybe traditional gender roles, or are you going deeper than that?
Okay, so we're gonna open the lines, and let me just say this again, guys. Look, please, when someone is on the phone, when you're watching it, it might be maybe out of sync on YouTube, or it's delayed for sure on YouTube. But when someone is on the line and we're talking to the person, just hold off and call it. I guess when you see us like winding down, I may give you guys a cue or something. Then you can call, because last week we were trying to have one conversation, and then we had like 5 calls coming in, and I got to disconnect it each time. And the way this thing works, the sound comes through unless I deactivate something, which will affect something else, so I can't do that. So please, when we're on the phone, just wait. I know you want to say something, just
Okay.
wait a bit, and hopefully this one won't go as long as last week. That last week we went over 2 hours. So
Yeah.
yeah, so here we go. Lines are now
Open. A lot of other
lines are open, guys.
interesting comments. Richard Copeland says, I love black women a lot, but most are unapproachable.
Wow,
So, yeah,
wow.
let's talk about it, guys.
Yeah, please, those two black
Let's
men
talk.
that said that, can you call? Look, you can call a block number. No one has to see it. You don't have to tell us your real name. But we want the insight. That's the most important thing right now. So that's why I'm allowing you guys to call. So the lines are open, right? So if y'all want to call, like, you can take up the your phone. The number again is 1-814-822-0317. That's 1-814-822 03, sorry, 17. So that's the number, so feel free to call. Hopefully. Who's
Okay,
this?
we've got a lady that says, I dated exclusively within my race, Caribbean guys and Setswanian prince, and a Setswanian prince,
Oh, that sounds interesting.
but none wanted to marry me and build a future together.
Really? Yeah, so we want you to call as well. Please, guys, come on, like, call. I think the numbers are open. Like, I hope it's live with the callers, please. Oh yeah, last. But the thing is this, like, if you guys see my interviews are really, really long, right? So the melanated files interviews are really long, and the reason is this: yeah, you can edit out stuff and all that good stuff, and still maybe get a general idea. But I just like when people explain fully what they mean, all the,
Mhm.
yeah, like some people might say it's long-winded, but I just want people to just get it all out, right? So that's that. Yeah. So yeah, I like when people give everything. If you rush people too much, then you miss stuff, and that's why. But I'll try to do a limit for the sake of for the to get as many people to call in as possible and move the discussion forward.
Um, while we're waiting for someone to call, I think I want to talk about even the whole unapproachable. That black women are unapproachable. What do you think about
Is
that?
this? Oh wait, sorry.
What do you
Wait,
think
what was
about
the
that?
question? I was reading something.
No, where one of the guys said black women are approachable, unapproachable, and how do you feel about that? Even in your experience, I know you're married, but even times here, some or other times when maybe you
Yeah.
had no interest in the woman, but you just
Oh
wanted to
man.
speak, say
I
something.
don't know.
What do you have to say about that?
You know I like a little fire, right? So I don't know. Like for me, I don't know. I'm fine. Like I don't think a black woman is unapproachable. I don't know. I don't think I get that vibe. And
I
like for me, like as
I
I said, like I don't mind. You
mm,
understand? Like I'm like okay.
I
I think
understand.
I understand what he
I
means.
understand what he means because like
I think I'm my okay. My what I think he means is that maybe she's a bit intimidating to him or whatever. Maybe like maybe the way she looks, like maybe she look unapproachable in that moment when he's trying to approach her, or he's looking at her from a distance or something. Because sometimes you see someone and you're like okay, like can I, for instance, if you're doing maybe like sales or something, or you got to go to like a random person, like I've done this before, and it's a stranger, and you're like okay, you're gonna try to sell them something, and you're there standing up, you're like, oh my god, I gotta like must like muster the courage to walk over, and it's the same thing, I think, and sometimes you could be wrong. You think someone is unapproachable because of maybe some cue, something that you see, and it might be inaccurate, and then you go
mhm.
over, you break the ice, and you're like, oh wow, look at that. But still, if it's a little thing where there's a little fire there, I'm ready for the fire. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think most black women, well, I can't say speak for most, but there's definitely, and it might be regional too, cultural too, depending on what their background is or whatever. But maybe some black women, like when you first approach them, and it might be how you approach them as well, right? Like it depends on the first words that come out of your mouth, maybe the look you gave her. She might think, you know what I mean, she might be thinking, I mean, and different women receive things differently. So maybe you came looking her up and down, and then she's just like just get out of my face, like she's not about it, right?
you know,
so
wait,
so it really, I think
the number was my subscription ended, so I renewed it. So I hope it's working. That's the thing, because I renewed it before we started, so I just hope that the number is working. I just did. So that might be a reason why it's not ringing. Because I got the email. I'm like, okay, snap, I gotta like renew this thing, and I did that.
Please let us know if you're calling
Yeah.
and it's not going through.
Test the number, someone. Testing 1212. Sorry, Jay. Continue.
No, that's fine. Yeah. So I'm just like, it might be the approach, and just like my husband is saying, like maybe like it depends. It depends on the character. It depends on the man too, because maybe you like that the resistant, or the you actually have to try and
Yeah, someone like that.
so like go a little bit harder to try and get her to respond to you. So I don't know, like women in general, like we're all very different, but also like I think it all depends on the confidence
But you know
of the man
what?
too.
Well, you know what too? Like last week, someone called. I can't remember her name. What's her name? Oh God, what's her name? Can't remember her name. She called last week. If you guys want to listen to that, a lot of people called last week, so you guys can listen to like part 1 of this. And she spoke about the fact that like media, pretty much. I'm paraphrasing, not verbatim. That media like shows this type of image of the black woman. And then the same thing you're talking about with the or maybe what this guy's alluding to, I'm not sure, about like the presence. It seems as though like they try to portray black women maybe as aggressive or whatever, like what people are saying in this. But the black woman that called on the phone, she's like, that's not true. He's like, yeah, this is not true. Like people think this is the case, but it's not true. Like you need to like, you need to like step, like you need. That's not the reality. Oh, there we go. It's working. Is this a test call? Test call? It's working, guys. It's a test call. Hey. Okay, let's get on to it. Hello, good morning. How you doing? What's your name?
Hi, my name is Beverly.
Hey, Beverly. Thanks for calling.
First, let's ask everyone if they can hear Beverly.
Oh, can you turn off the thing that you listen to, the computer or something? What?
Okay, I turned it off.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. Every call is coming in now. Look at that. There's like 3 calls in quick succession. Okay. Hi, Beverly. What's your take?
I had an amazing day. Thank you both so much for your channel and everything you're doing. How are you all?
We're good.
We're great.
We're good. Yeah.
We love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, right. It's a bleak day in Tokyo, but we're pretty good.
I love to see you guys together. So I am a Black American, so I'm really African, but I live in the United States and I was born here. And I started something called Wife School about 2 years ago. It's a Black and wealthy movement. It's for Black-only people. It's actually called Roots of Royals, but it's not very popular amongst Black Americans. So
wait, it's called what? It's called Life School, you said?
Yeah, Wife School.
Oh, white?
Wife
or white?
Wife.
Oh, wife, like wife.
W-I-F-E.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah.
Interesting. Tell us more.
Oh my, it's so interesting, and I'm so excited, honestly, to be able to share it like on your platform. So it's a Black and wealthy movement, and it's like an international movement, and the people that are in it are families, and they come from 7 generations of Black wealth. So they've been my mentors, like the wife, Mrs. Grajanois. She's a mentor of mine, and someone she mentored, Mrs. Jackson. I connected with them in when I was 24. Now I'm 27.
Okay.
So they have this book called Man Leads, which I completely recommend. So it's like a lot of the women in America, not Black people worldwide, but in America, the traditional roles are so confused. Like, I believe you had a caller speaking on that about the media last week. But, we're good-hearted people, but we're just so confused that women are, repelling good men. So, but I mean, it goes both ways, but it's just sometimes we call males when we mean to say men, but, I've learned through my studies that most men are good, and I've learned, for example, I have had a very serious relationship that I thought we would be married together forever, but I've since learned that I actually, even though I was so, good intentioned, I did some deal breakers in terms of respect, just as, maybe interrupting or just something that this Black man was from Haiti. And it's like I gave him pretty much like I forced him. You know what I'm saying? It's like he had to leave me to protect his masculinity. You know, who wants to be emasculated? But so pretty much, our it's like I get it. Like when I go out, when you walk the streets in the United States today, you'll see women wearing like bonnets on their hair, or they'll be dressed in men's clothing. It's just like it's almost like so. There was this experiment done. It's called rat utopia or something,
Hmm.
and they had male and female rats, and they what they did was they gave like unlimited housing and unlimited food. So the women rats, the female rats, they stopped trying to attract the men, and then they weren't nurturing either, and then all the rats died. And my mentors have compared that to United States, and they even have gone as far as to say that there's still slavery in the United States, and it's like, so I don't put the blame on black women. We actually don't. We're not even
Um,
blaming right now for
Hmm.
like the purpose of integrity, but we say that sometimes it's like they don't even allow you to be feminine or even a housewife. Like it's so rare here, but when you travel to other countries, you see how soft and how protected and how cherished and adored the wives and daughters are in the community. It's like the black American family is going extinct. So we really encourage everyone to get their passport to just see that life outside of America is so different, and it's almost like the real human experience out there. So thank you for listening. I
No, no,
mean,
no, not
if
yet. No, wait,
anybody,
wait, wait.
go
Don't
ahead.
leave. No, don't leave it.
I've got a
Okay. So wait,
extra.
yeah. There's two things. What was the catalyst for the rats dying again? Sorry, like the catalyst for it. What was it? With the rats that died. What was the
um,
catalyst for
they
them?
called
They
it
Mhm.
go ahead.
the study is called like it's either Ratopia or Rat Utopia.
Okay.
Rat Utopia.
Okay. And the next thing I wanted to ask was, what do you think black women want then? Like in terms of, you said that this is the way that they've been portrayed, right? Like maybe like the system is trying to like get them to be a certain way or something. Like what do you think they want personally as a black woman yourself? What do you
I'm
want?
so I honestly am so like grateful that you've asked that. So we need husbands. Like we
Oh
need
wow.
air. We really do. And when I turned 25, it's like, well, in our movement, the women don't marry until they're 25 and the men don't marry until they're 35.
Oh
So
wow.
I started to, because I was always a positive, kind of like a go-getter, but I started understanding, like, I had to really understand, like, I need a healthy male, who's going to be my husband. We're going to grow together, but nothing's gonna fill that for me. Not even if I try to, especially not if I make my own money or get a job or anything like that. Like so, we need husbands, and I think women like. I really encourage meditation because I feel like this the traumatic state because every generation has gotten worse as far as femininity in America because it's like our mothers weren't allowed to be home with us because they had to work, and even our grandmothers that some of us weren't even raised properly or even at all. So you literally have children in adult bodies, and myself too. Like even though I really want to be married right now,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes daily I see my behavior and I'm like, I am so childish. But it's like I haven't had that example. And I've learned like us females, we need things repeated. So I'm doing everything I can to be an example. And that's why I truly like your example is so powerful.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll let you have the floor.
Yeah, one thing that you said, even in regards to the whole rat utopia thing, it kind of reminds me of what happened, especially in the U.S. with the whole what do you call that? Social, the
Civil
welfare,
rights.
no,
Oh.
the welfare system, where
mhm.
where rules were given and it was set up in a way to pretty much separate the black family, because women were given welfare, but were told that the man could not live with them,
Oh wow.
right? If a
Exactly.
man's living with you, then you will no longer get social assistance.
Wow.
So this particularly like really brought a division within black families, and then the women were depending on the money to take care of their kids, and then it's like the man had to become
Um,
like a little side thing. He can't really stay there, you know what I mean?
exactly.
And the
Exactly.
government's taking care of her, so I don't need a man attitude came out. I don't need you. I got the system. You know what I
Totally.
mean? So I think that also, unfortunately, and I've seen it in Canada too. So it's not just in America. I've seen it in Canada, in the low income communities where you see all these single moms on social welfare, and the father's not inside. The father's not living with them. Why? Because if he's living with them, she ain't getting no money.
Oh wow.
Well, I
So
love how you brought up the low income like side because it's like that's true. There are some wealthy black people, and that's why I love our mentors because they'll go public with their wealth, but they're not like celebrities or anything like that. So it's like this is not how black people are. We're trying to show Americans like you're pretty much living very, very poor like slaves. But we black Americans do make the most money like worldwide, but we're the biggest spenders. And so that's what they're saying. That's why they broke up the black family because if you pass things down, you have power, but we just spend everything. And like people don't know what their money would do in other countries. But I also just wanted to say like these poor American people, like this happened way before me. And all my sisters I see out here and all our brothers and all the males and like I'm like, we are so in over our heads because we're like 50, 40 or more years. Like this is our generations were built like this. So it's like some of them, like I said, it's like childish how many mistakes we make, but it's like we really need to be, so the few that can focus, like we need to be very compassionate. They're teaching us like our teachers, they're wealthy and they consider wealth at least 8 million and they've been more than wealthy for generations and they don't have a business. This movement I'm talking about is not a business.
Mm-hmm.
This is literally they're trying to create more black families. So it's like a
Mm-hmm.
compassionate thing and they're showing us like you can't gain money like white people. Nothing on the TV is helping you. But I do love your guys' YouTube channel because that is helping. And our group is online, but yeah,
what's the
it's
name
really
of the
exciting.
what's the name of the group again? I can't say we're endorsing the group because we don't know all the details yet. But still, I'll have you say it again so if people want to check it out, they can
Yeah.
just to see what's up. What's the name of it again?
Okay, so it's called Roots of Royals.
So Roots of Royals.
Roots of
Okay,
Royals.
cool.
Okay.
And you said it's
Yeah.
online. So
But
guys, you can Google that. Or do you have a website or something?
they do have a website, Roots of Royals. I'm so excited to see what everybody thinks about it because you can see where someone's mindset is. Their whole focus is generational wealth, and we have an app, and it's not like even though we're very focused families and we're international,
Mm-hmm.
it's like we're not like we all know each other kind of like we see people progress and like I've seen people that have joined the movement after me and just like done such growth in their families. Like they people are married
Mm-hmm.
and we have our own bank now
Oh wow.
and we have
Mm.
our own form of currency actually.
Really?
So so all and our my mentor, Mrs. Gajinwal, she speaks Japanese fluently.
Oh wow,
And they
Ah.
that's
actually
nice.
just they're just in Japan and we were in Thailand. Ah.
Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, I see that you guys got a website and stuff like that.
Okay,
Um,
great. Thanks for
okay, yeah,
sharing with
we'll
us.
definitely check it out. Again, I just want to make sure I say this because people call right, but I don't know it, so I haven't vetted this thing yet, guys. So we're not endorsing this, but we're allowing her to speak, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to say that just to make sure no one say, okay, well, Ramsey, you're promoting
Totally.
this, yeah. Okay,
We appreciate that. Thank
Yeah.
you both so much.
oh,
Thanks
no
for
problem.
calling.
Thanks for calling.
Okay. Ciao.
Is it
Bye.
Brittany? Is it Brittany again? Listen, right? Is it Brittany or Brittany?
My name is Beverly.
Beverly. Okay, so with a
Beverly.
B. At least I got a B.
I didn't remember your
Beverly.
name at all.
Okay, thanks for
So
calling Beverly. Thanks for calling Beverly.
No, I appreciate you guys asking. Beverly, I'm 27, and I need my husband this year. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, you guys.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
I'm just kidding.
yeah. You know what? One last thing that I'll say is that you said you find sometimes that you're childish, right? The thing is, when you get married, it's like a learning curve. It's like having a child. Like, well, there are books, of course, you can read and you can learn certain things about it, like raising your child and stuff like that before you have your child. And sometimes you can go for like marriage counseling. And but the thing is, when you're in it, it's a different experience as well. You can use those tools that you acquired through research and maybe from someone else's experience. But at the same time, like you gotta grow through it, and you won't be perfect at first, right? And the thing with marriages too is that there's usually a rough patch somewhere there. You might have the honeymoon phase and you're all good, and then there's something challenging that comes, and then you got to work through that, right? So you get better. You learn to work with each other, and it's a learning process, right? So it's one of those things where it's not like perfection from the onset. Might be for some people, but it's a work in progress, just like anything else in life. So if you find a person and you guys decide to get married, don't worry or be super stressed out that you don't think you're truly prepared. Like, oh my gosh, like, am I ready for this thing?
I agree with
Because
that
you will
too.
grow through it. Like
Yeah,
me and my wife we're what 2 seconds, Jay. 5 seconds, 5 years, over 5 years into this, and it's we're a lot different today than we were before. I think a lot
Right.
better actually.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think it's the same thing when you have kids. You don't really know what you're doing. Like when I have my daughter, like it's like you learn along the way, right? And I think that's just with how it is. Like you, but put your foot in, right?
Yeah, it doesn't
Put your
seem
foot in
like
it.
you're learning because she's really, really good. She's like an amazing mother. Like I'm not even joking. Like the best.
Oh,
Like the best,
oh.
right? So she seems like an expert from the beginning. I felt like you were good with kids from the beginning because just the way you were, even just with people and kids overall. I'm like, okay, I'm like my daughter or son or whoever we would have one of the best mothers in the world. So yeah, okay, go ahead. She felt good.
Wow. It's so good to see a wife highly adored and a husband highly respected. And you guys remind me of something that my mentor said. She was like, well, she went deep. I won't say that over the live, but she was just saying like this part of marriage is more like a journey than a destination, and it's not about giving. It's about like how can I can't quote it exactly, but pretty much like compassion and serving.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to say, like, so our group, because they're wealthy families and people, I'm studying this, and like they have something called Family Matcher, and they help you with your marriage negotiations. Like, if there's families that are gonna be, engaged, and you're engaged, they'll help you just with things that's like, the in normal families, because we don't really see any families, like we don't know this tradition, but the normal traditional steps, like this movement, they'll pretty much adopt you as your parents, like if you're from a broken family, and they'll just help you so then you don't run into so many issues your first year. So I feel like right now, thankfully, I really feel like I was born to be a wife because it is like the highest honor and privilege position, and I just see myself doing so well in it. But I feel like I would not have been, because I didn't understand men, because like I was just the perspective I was raised, like more caring about what women thought or how I felt, but it's more like what he thinks. So I'm just don't I was just chiming in on that. Like they'll help the ladies see that, kind of when you do your negotiations, just so you don't run into those tiny, or like I said, like my last relationship, like I made some mistakes that were just so unnecessary because I didn't know. But okay.
Understood. Yeah, but Beverly, thank you so much for calling.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for
so much for
calling.
sharing,
Okay.
for giving your take.
Okay.
Right, we appreciate you. Take care.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. What?
No. Okay, bye, bye.
What was that?
Yeah. So, actually, I wanted to talk about the fact that one of the things that she had said was about the traditional wife of roles and wife of roles. Do you hear my brain? Wife of roles. Okay. Sorry, guys.
I heard your brain.
The traditional role of wives. You can answer.
Hey, welcome to the MFiles Podcast. How you doing? What's your name? Hello. I can hear that something is in the background playing, so I know that the line is open. You might be a troll, but I'll give you 2 seconds. Hello. Okay.
Okay. So what I was saying was she was talking about like in other cultures and other countries, like women are often.
Hey. Hello. Welcome to the MFiles Podcast. How you doing? Hello.
And they help you with your marriage negotiations.
Okay.
They were
Okay.
playing the video. They were playing the video in the background.
Yeah.
But this person was calling a lot, so can I get my thought in?
Yeah.
If the call comes in again, just
Okay.
So that's something that I've noticed here in Japan, is that maybe a lot of people wouldn't realize that, but here in Japan, like a housewife is actually a common thing. Like stay-at-home moms, women not working, or women like literally after they finish high school, taking a job as a secretary because they know that once they get married, it's so loud. Why did you hang it up?
So I don't know number.
Oh, but some people call
I
and are
know,
genuine.
I know, but just now I answered this, and the
Yeah, but
person
you don't
was
know
like
if
the
it's the
troll.
same
So I'm like,
person, babe.
it's okay, but finish your thought, and then we
Okay.
can. But you gotta like go fast because the
Yeah,
call's
yeah.
gonna come in right.
So no, what I'm saying is here in Japan, it wasn't something that I was expecting to see. How many households have a stay-at-home mother? You know, like that a woman who holds that old, whatever people want to call old school wife role, and it's more common than you think, and it's not something that's necessarily dying. More women in Japan are seeking, higher careers and stuff, but there's actually people that I know that just graduated from university, but they still want to be a housewife.
Really?
Like some women, it's like a decision. Do they want to be a housewife? Because a lot of them grew up with a mother as a housewife, but the way that they work it out with is that they'll still get their degree, but when they settle down, get married, have kids, they will stay at home with the kids at least until they reach like full day school. Maybe when they become about maybe 10 or 11, or at a decent age, they'll start to go back to work. They'll start looking for jobs again.
Oh, I see.
And then many work part time. A lot of moms may work part time while their kids start full time school. But my mom did that.
Did what?
She stayed at home.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, she stayed at home. So she stayed at home, and it's because, well, there's a big age gap between me and my sisters, right? So like when my sisters were really really young, because I was already in full day school, but when my sisters were really young, my mom was at home, and it wasn't until maybe they started actually being in school for a full day did she start to go out and actually start working.
Yeah, well, what I know about Japan though is that the whole school system here is it's almost like it's a full-time job. They want you at the school for your child for this and that, and every 2 seconds you got to go there for this, and it's like a full-time thing. Like, and I heard this lady, she has two children here, and she's like, there's so much that you got to do. Like, it's like your child being in school is like you're in school, because you're required to do so many things. And then the daycare system here and the whole babysitter thing in Japan is a lot different than elsewhere, right? So it's one of those things. So I can imagine that.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah. Trust me, if you're working and stuff, it's gonna be like, I don't know how people get it done.
Right, but there's two types of school. There's a type of school that's for stay-at-home parent, one stay-at-home parent.
Okay, so get this.
And then there's hoikuen, which takes care of kids all day so that the parents can work.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got both sides. Hello.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you talking, but I wanted to counter whoever kept calling in and causing chaos. And I was going to wait while you guys finish talking, and then I can talk. So you can carry on, and then I'll talk after you finish your thought.
Oh, no,
okay, so we know the voice, so we know this is Wise
Nubian. We know this is Wise Nubian.
What's up?
Yeah, you know me. I support my beautiful family.
Yeah. We can't forget your voice. No, we've gotten used to your voice, so we know it's you.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I don't play games. I'm not going to do that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your take?
Mm-hmm. Are you finished your thought?
Oh yeah. So what's your take?
I apologize. I was pausing because I was waiting for you all to finish your thought.
Oh, no worries. Go ahead. I'm done.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm so happy that I was able to reach you all. It's good to see the wife back.
Yeah.
The husband looked like he's glowing more since you came back. Y'all look so beautiful together. I just started cheesing all over the place. I'm like, look at these two. They're so cute.
Oh,
but anyway, all right, enough embarrassing. But yeah, y'all was talking about a subject that she was talking about the marriage, and I was just, they have so many cultures. Well, I'm always talking about the motherland or the island, where they have surrogate parents that always want to take care of our people. That's why we have a village raising our people. Even if you marry, we always, in order for a marriage to work, the culture I come from, especially in the Maroons, we tend to support the husband and wife so intensively the elders and everybody's always there to help them get through their problems so they don't break up, but to strengthen their relationship.
Yeah.
The other thing that we worked very hard on was to make sure they're compatible by getting to know each other at a very young age and being able to work with them. If they come over to hang out together before they even active on a sexual level or becoming married, they at young age become best friends and they learn each other and they know each other. They're like brothers and sisters in a sense, being siblings because they're working together to build a foundation to keep the marriage. So when they do get married, they know each other. That all they know is each other, and it's imperative, and their love grows. One of the things I've always liked about Asian culture, at least from cinema, they would have the best relationship as friends. They would never hug, kiss, or nothing. You go through the whole drama looking at them. You could tell they love each other, but they like keep it. What they call this word in this language?
But I know, well, in
Keep it
Korea,
confined.
but in Korea,
Huh?
the PDA's public display of affection is a thing. So if you go to Korea, you see that a lot, right? So like they display all that. You see people holding hands sometimes, potentially kissing and stuff like that. You might not. Well, I've even seen stuff in Japan too, but not a lot. Like in Japan, it's not a lot. But I know in Korea, like at least you see a lot of couples walking around and you can see them displaying PDA a little bit.
Right. Now that I know what you're saying, but one of the things I like about it because I believe this comes from our culture too, that the way they, the bonding and the friendship is more important than the act, because Westerns always want to show, like you see them talking for about 5 minutes and then they sucking each other's face. Then you see them and then they in the bed with each other. Then you see them. It's like it's all over the place, soft porn. But in reality, we get to know each other. We get to respect each other. We get to love each other. And we get to understand each other, understand each other, and provide a foundation for why you want to be connected to this person for the rest of your life. And I've noticed some cultures of Asian practice that too. I know they have been westernized, and a lot of them are dropping off their culture like unbuckled belts. But it was a time when the culture was so important, and friendship was so important, and the harmonious platonic relationship was more important than the gathering of the interaction of intercourse and all that. Because I know I'm old school, but it's still frowned upon because you're not getting to know a person. Once you bond, you're connected. It's like you shouldn't be running nowhere else. Unfortunately, a lot of people do. That's why I think the bond is so important when you're not intimate until you marry and you committed to each other and you're like, look, I will be with you for the rest of your life and the rest of my life, and I will be loyal, and we will be friends. We will cook together. We will go on adventures together. We will climb up mountains together. We will do everything together because that's the bond. And when I see you two, I see that bond, and I love it.
But
I love it so much.
you know one thing,
Huh?
there's one thing I want to say as well because I want people to understand that. Listen, I feel like I'm compelled to say this. Look, marriage can be work as well, all right? I don't want
Of
you guys.
course.
I don't want you guys to think like everything is 100% perfect. But you know what? Like the thing is that we've been through like times where we had to work through things, right? To be honest. But honestly, like
Right.
going through all those things in terms of working things out, like the way we gel and all these things, we work through it, right? So what you guys may be seeing, I'm not sure what you guys are seeing, is like we've worked. So I want people to understand that once you get into marriage, it might not be, it might be even beautiful in the beginning, or right at the beginning, like you're feeling all that good stuff, and then maybe it might go down a little bit, and then you got to work at it and then come up. Because the thing is, I feel like based on even our experience, when things get maybe a little bit more challenging, some people may tend to leave, right? And if one person is willing to stick it out, it's usually important if one person is willing to stick it out, or even both. But usually it's like one person has one mindset and another person has another mindset, and then something might be persistent, like, okay, what's going on? And then I think that's where a lot of people drop off. It's like it's almost like maybe even a business or anything else that you're pursuing. Usually when it gets challenging, people just dip. You understand? Like the first impulse is to just leave, right? It's like let's just do this thing, whatever the case is, because you don't want to go through that. but marriage itself is work. But if you can persist through that hardship and you can really gel, it's like that. I don't even know what to call it, but that process of maybe like two worlds merging together, right? You grew up with your parents that had a certain way of doing things. You took on that. Then this other person grew up with their parents, had another way of doing things, see the world differently, different worldviews, maybe. And then you got to. It's like these two worlds are colliding almost.
Yeah.
And then if you can go through that part, then it becomes like one planet, and then things now. You understand the person a lot more, and then you can work together in almost like synergy, and it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
But there's beauty that grows out of that chaos, and I think a lot of people, they go through that place and they leave when it's chaotic.
Yeah.
But it's so important because I can say personally, even my relationship with my wife now is a lot better than it was even before. Like a lot better, I think. I think we're more connected.
But that's what marriage really is about.
Yeah, and the thing is,
why it's so perfect.
And the thing too that I want to say was that I was talking to this guy a few days ago, and I even feel a deeper connection to my family because you guys know that I talk about what do you call it, like the transience of life and how frail we are. That one day you're here, the next day you're gone. So I've sort of made like I haven't told my wife this, but I've made like this decision in my mind where I'm trying to be better than I am, right? I'm trying to become more involved and be a better person to them because I'm like, this journey. I was talking to an older guy recently, and he's telling me that, you know what, hug your daughter as much as you can because before you know it, she's gonna be grown, and then you can't pick her up anymore, right? So it's like right now, these days, this time, make the best of it while you can do it, and that's what I'm trying to do. But I also want people to understand that
You're doing a great job, both of you. That's what you're doing is exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I want people to understand
I'm talking over you.
But I want people to understand that, right? Because I don't want to put up a facade for people to think a certain thing and think that, because if you don't give people the backstory a little bit, sometimes people will say, well, my thing doesn't look like this. Why doesn't it look like this? And you think that you're in the wrong place because it doesn't look the way that you maybe you're seeing. But if there's a hard time and you want to make it work and you know the person is right for you, and there might be just one or two pet peeves or whatever, like try to work that out. And if you can get through that, it's a beautiful thing. I'm telling you, like, it's a beautiful thing once you can get through that. So it's beautiful.
And
like,
your queen are doing an excellent job in how you're going about it. Everything you explain is only normal and what one expect with real relationship. People try and fail is because they really don't want it. So they're forcing it just for look. You love each other from the soul, the very essence of your being. You appreciate her. When she ain't around, let me put it like this. Let her leave you for 24 hours and see how you feel. I know this for a fact. I had the opportunity to love before, but I usually scare my wives away because they say I'm overwhelming. They're thinking I'm expecting everything I'm dishing out. They got to give too. But that's not how love works. Love is a workable, it's like a workout. It's like being healthy. It's like eating the right food every day. It's just like raising your baby. You will really never know. You'll know your baby from the time she was born, but she will continue to grow and change. And every time you turn around, she will surprise you. You're like, what was she doing? and that's part of the beauty of having a child growing. And that's how you and your queen relationship will be. You will forever be changing the better, and her eyebrow will raise up like, I didn't know he was this cultivating. And then you will look at her like, I didn't know she was this cultivating. And then you start having more hearts floating over your head because you're like, I love her even more now. And that's the beauty of what real marriage is about. Yeah, of course, it's not all love and romance. Oh, I'm sure there are times when you got to smell somebody poop and stank feet and bad breath and eye stuff in the eye. You know, that's a part of what true love and bonding is. You have allowed this woman and you have allowed this man to be in your most sacred space, to see your most intimate part. Yes, I'm a daddy, so I'm going to tell it like it is. And you see everything. When I have to clean my children's booty all the time, and they stink, and they fart, and they boo, they vomit, they do everything, I still love them. I have a job to do. And that is how the relationship between you and your wife is, because you're constantly growing. No one can ever take this away from you. You know it. Okay, I shut him. Go ahead, talk.
Yeah, it's I see some questions here, but I'm not sure what people are asking.
How
Um,
do you know she's the right one? That's what
yeah, people are
somebody said.
asking. We did share that before. Well, my s- well, the things when I first met my wife, the truth of the matter is I never knew that she would be my wife. I never knew that I would. I wasn't even interested in pursuing her, to be honest.
That's
The
the
first
beauty of it all.
the first meeting, right? So this was different. It's I've been in other relationship before I met my wife, and usually when I saw the person, like it was like, okay, you know what? We met, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pursue this person. But me and my wife actually became friends first, right? And then it progressed into what it
See?
now is. But
Exactly.
no, but I'm not saying that that's the basis for it. But there was this is my experience, and it might not be your experience. So this is the thing.
Right.
Look. I know that when people are talking, that when people are sharing stories, usually if you're reading a book about a success story, or someone is talking, they usually just tell you the beautiful parts, and they usually conveniently omit the part that is like a bit grimy. And that I believe that gives people false hope and give people a false idea of what to aspire to, because you feel like, well, my thing ain't going that way, so it means I'm in the wrong place. But that's not the case. That's why I want to say, like, when we so and then everyone's circumstance and situation is different.
Mhm.
When I
Mhm.
met my wife, the truth, this is what happened. Like, I felt like I knew her. This was the thing that happened to me in the moment when I walked into that room and I saw her. She was either the first or
Hmm.
second person I met when I was entering this new space. And she, like, I just felt this thing. I don't know, maybe it was just her presence. I don't know what it was, but I felt like I'd known her for a long, long time. So she never felt like a stranger. This might sound, ooh, to some people, whatever, but it was reality. And sometimes I'm
Right?
reluctant to sharing that, because I feel like people are gonna try to, like, say, okay, well, Ramsel said this, and they're gonna try to go around and feel to see if they get that vibe. But I
Yeah.
don't want you to use what we had as a standard, because it's like it's not. It's just for us, right? And the reason for that was too. Um, I felt like I sucked at choosing women at one point, because I remember uh, just like past stuff. I'm like, man, like, I don't know. I'm trying to reserve some of the adjectives and the words I want to use. So let me just say, I believe I sucked at choosing women in the past, and yeah, and I had to, like, kind of just open up myself and just kind of like just there's some I had to go through certain things in my mind and different things, and yeah, and all right, here we are, and now I
I
think.
understand you, Rizzo.
Yeah, I'm kind of like omitting certain things, so you guys gotta read between the lines. I'm sorry if you're confused right now,
Let me say
but
something. Let
now
me say something.
it can be beautiful though. But for real, I want to say it can be beautiful. Like, when you connect with a person, of course you'll have the same arguments and stuff. It's not perfect, but it's like what Jay said about this parallel might be a little bit odd, but like a parent and a child, or siblings, well, siblings can have rivalries and stuff like that. But it's like you love them because you're connected to them, and it's like even if you have some type of rift, you still come back together, right? It's just like it's a relationship.
Mhm.
And then you can, and how do you know if the person love you? Um, that's I guess you'll know. I think you'll know. I think it's something that you'll know. It's gonna be immediately
True love
apparent. I think you'll
is
know.
like that.
Um,
You're
but
constantly learning.
Mhm.
You're constantly growing. Let me put it like this. Your love is so strong, if she asks you to bite her toenails, you will do it in a hurry. Okay?
no, I don't know.
That's what true love is. Okay? I have to say things like that to really get you all to get it. It's
no,
like,
I'm sorry. No.
yeah, I said
Well,
yes, yes, you can say no, yes, you will bite her
maybe
nails,
I
her
don't know. Maybe
toenails. You'll clean the dirt from under her nails.
well,
Trust me, I'm
yeah,
telling
I would do
you.
I would do that, but with like the tools and stuff. But I don't know about. Anyways, let's just. This is
Okay.
what look. I would send her to a place to get it done professionally. Okay, that's what I would do. So I'm like,
Okay, I'm gonna
That's
stop
funny.
sweating you.
Yeah.
But that's how love is, man.
Some people in the comments are reacting to what he means.
See,
Actually,
real people who know what love is, they understand what I say. Other people like, what the heck did he just say?
okay, okay.
But you know I'm
This guy's
telling the truth.
hilarious. Oh my god.
hilarious.
um,
Okay, I'm gonna leave you guys alone.
Okay, thank you.
thanks for calling,
Thanks
Wesley.
Peace
for
and
calling.
blessings.
Thanks for the love, man. I
Bye
appreciate it.
bye.
Bye.
I appreciate it. Take care, man.
So some people were asking, was it true love? Was it true love, babe? Sorry, was it true love at first sight? I already know the answer.
No, like
No.
for me, it wasn't love at
Yeah,
first sight.
it wasn't love
But
at
there
first
was
sight.
something that I experienced that I had never experienced before, but still I never knew what it was. And it might sound weird, but she did remind me. There was a feeling of like, for some reason, she reminded me of my mother a little bit, and I felt like that I don't know. Some people might take that, I don't know how you take that,
No,
but but there's one thing I remembered, and it was like she wasn't a stranger in that moment. I felt like I'd known this person all my life. Hello, thanks for calling. What's your name? Hello. Okay, there we go. So another troll again. I'm just like, come on, a troll person. Like really, like let's just take 2 seconds for the troll. Look, come on now. You're gonna take up your phone. I don't know where you live. If you live in the east or you live in the west, it's nighttime in the west, daytime in the east. It's a Saturday. Go do something productive. Come on, read a book, something really, or just sit there and listen. Why do you got to call? I don't even know. Maybe people got. I don't even know. But come on now, you're wasting time. Your time.
Sorry, I gave a big kiss to that person.
Well, hey. But yeah, so
No,
I felt that way. What? How did you feel? Because I don't know.
Right,
You probably how did you feel? Because I know I felt like you weren't a stranger for some reason. It's like you're meeting someone for the first time, but I felt like I'd known. I'm like, I couldn't put my finger on it, and we'd never met before ever, right? So, yeah.
How did I feel?
Well, I guess you never felt in a way since it's not memorable.
No. Like when I first met you, I was like, okay, he's cool. But I was also at a stage in my life. Just check. No?
Okay, I'm not
Okay.
answering any unknown numbers. I'm sorry. If you're gonna call with your number, please. I would never call you back, so don't worry. Yeah.
What was I saying? Right. When we met, yeah, at that time of my life, I was just like not about it. I was just like, yeah, like I wasn't trying.
You couldn't resist. Come on now, you know that.
I wasn't trying to be involved in anything, but at the same time, it was just more like a friendship thing at first. But remember, I said, I approached you and asked you like what your intentions were, because we kept hanging out so much. I was like, okay.
You're falling now.
I started to fall for you because
you're just like
you kept calling me. Oh God, you wanna go to the movies?
Yeah, because you were like really
movies
cool.
With me. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, yeah, you were like, you were really cool. So I'm just like, okay.
That sounds so cool. I don't know why.
What?
I don't think you've ever told me that.
Oh God, I think she's blushing. Oh, this thing actually turned into like something I wasn't expecting it to turn into, because we came on this thing and we're gonna talk about this, like the problem between black men and black women, and try to facilitate a sort of discussion. But no, it's almost like I don't want the attention to be on us.
No. But I think the evolution of it's not going to be exactly how it was last time, and I think we're talking about a lot of important things, and even sharing our experience, actually being two married black people who gone through at least almost 6 years of marriage, and we're a young couple, so a lot of people can maybe learn from our experience too. So I don't think even though it's kind of switched a little bit, I don't think it's such a bad thing.
Yes, it's one of those things where, man, okay, we got someone calling 289. What number is that? I won't call other numbers. Come on, Jay. I know better than that. Hey guys, sorry. What's up? Welcome to the MFiles Podcast. How you doing? Hello.
Oh, hello, Ranza.
Hey, what's up?
I'm really interested in that topic. Sorry, can you repeat the topic again, just so I don't?
Hey, have you called before? Your voice sounds familiar.
Oh yeah, I'm the guy from Hamilton.
Right. Are you Dark Seed?
Is it and Nods?
I'm Dark Side. Yeah.
Dark Side. Sorry.
Okay.
Dark Side. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. No. So while the topic is this, like in a nutshell, it's about black women were saying, like, I've had a lot of conversations, and they're saying it seems like they're interested in black men, but for some reason it seems that the black men are turning elsewhere. So the black men appear to be disinterested in black women. So we're trying to get the black women to share their thoughts and why they think this is the case and possible solutions. And we're asking for black men to call in as well to give their take on it. Why this seems if this is a reality for them as well, and for them to say okay what the solution is and why they think it's so. So we're trying to get like both sides to share their thoughts, and hopefully there can be some understanding or some insights provided that we can use to remedy the issue.
I see. Well, personally, I do believe in the fact that in this era that black women seem to be more interested in black men than black men are interested in black women. But I believe it's because of multiple reasons. Of course, when you look at the big idols, big NFL players, I remember reading on that fact that this social media, this NFL player basically toasting to light-skinned children, biracial children, which was a huge trend because it was just a bunch of black guys sitting with their white wives, just like saying, toasting to, of course, biracial children. Of course, I have no problem with that, but it stirs up this hate, when it comes to colorism, which is a big topic because I've personally, sorry, I go too fast sometimes, but
it's okay. Take your time.
Yeah.
Are you listening to yourself?
Are
you listening to some? Are you listening to yourself at the same time while you're speaking? If that's the case, turn off or pause the video while you're speaking.
Or turn off the volume. Yeah.
You might be distracted.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, I watched a lot of Woody Maya's vlogs and all that, and he does talk about how like there's a big bleaching problem in Nigeria, and
Jamaica,
that how
Jamaica as well. Like I grew up with that, so I understand that. Yeah, I even got teased at one point. Where did I share this? I can't remember. I got teased at one point when I was younger, in like when I was like about what do you call it, sixth grade. What age is that? I don't know, like 11. They're about 10, 11, about 11. I got teased because I was so dark, and they gave me a name. I won't say the name here. And this is in Jamaica, and I'm talking about black people, right? So it's funny because even Mel said that like colorism is like an issue even in predominantly black countries, which is a thing. Because in Jamaica, you get teased. Like people would say, there's a phrase that some people say in Jamaica, which is like you're black and ugly like. So it's pretty much saying like you're black. So it's almost like being black is synonymous with being ugly, right? So they'll say you're black and ugly. Like, and it's a thing that people would say to insult other people. Black people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about someone that's another color. So colorism is a thing. And I was teased at one point because I think I was even darker than I am now, right? Because my mom is dark as well. My family, all of us are black. So that's the thing. So I get that. I get that. I understand what you're saying.
I overall I agree. It is a big thing. But how do I say this? I believe that we can counteract this by having more black-owned medias, black-owned cartoons. Because I remember I basically grew up on like, I know it's a little bit embarrassing to say, but like cartoons like Kim Possible, Ben 10, and like all those cartoons. And it's weird because I always saw like I don't know if you know Spy Girls, which is like you could always see the darker skinned person like being underrepresented, all that stuff. I remember when like she had poofy hair, which I believe it was insinuating the kinky texture, and basically she was referring it to as like messy and like all that, and then she decided to just pull a straightener out of nowhere and then just starts to straighten her hair, which I believe very big problem.
You know what too, which I think, oh sorry, finish your thought.
No, you finish it. Sorry.
What I think is important is that we have to love who we are. You get what I'm trying to say? And I wonder if that maybe that I can't say. Maybe that affected my self-esteem a little bit when I was younger. A little bit. Maybe it did. I'm not sure. But I feel like it's important that we accept who we are, as black people, as dark as you are. It doesn't matter. And it's funny because it seems like the general consensus is that, or the consensus is that being really dark or black is synonymous with being ugly. Like it's like a thing.
Yeah.
Like the darker you are, the uglier you are. Apparently, it seems like that's something that the world like has just decided that okay, this is the case. So the lighter you are, so it's almost like ugly is like black, and then really 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 pale, and then it's like the closer you're to black, the uglier it's like uglier, and you keep going, and the more you're closer
Exactly.
to this color. And I remember where there was someone that actually said within Japan, a Japanese person, that it doesn't matter how good you think you look, the mere fact that your skin is dark is something that within itself is a badge of ugliness. So even if you think you look whatever and you look good, in your mind, your skin is like a thing that just brings you down. But I think it's very very important that we accept who we are and how we look. So if you're a dark look, I love my black skin. Like if you told me tomorrow, and some people might deny this, say, do you want to become a really pale person or this color or that color? I'm like, nah. Like I'm super proud about being who I am. Like I
Yeah.
love my skin. And the thing is, I had a conversation recently where a guy was like, he wish he was dark as I am. I'm like, okay, that's different, because most people they're trying to run away from that. In Jamaica, people bleach and they wear these things on their faces, and they wear these
Yeah.
long jackets and the
In the
umbrella to
summertime.
hide from the sun, and these
Like-
things on their face, because it's like you're bleaching your skin to remove the melanin, so now you're hiding from the sun because you don't want to be burnt and you want to make sure that you look the way you want to look. And I've had conversations because people pretty close to me do it, and I'm like, why do you do it? And I'm like, and they're saying, well, it's a fashion thing. They're like, well, I'm good. It's not it's not that I don't like myself. It's just a fashion thing. So now I'm just doing it because it's cool. Like that's what they say to me. But I'm like, I don't know. And I feel like people need to, and especially those who are darker, even some of my really dark friends, like when they grew up to a certain age, they start bleaching, and it's usually most of the people that are really dark. When you look at them now, you're looking at a picture, you're like, who is this? Like this guy is like John Black, John White. I'm not even. It's
Yeah.
a thing.
Like a Michael Jackson.
It's almost like you
transformation.
can't even recognize them, and I'm like, you're saying it's a style or a fashion, but it might be a little bit deeper than that, right? But they say what they say, right? So what I'm just the point I'm getting to is that we gotta love who we are. We gotta love our skin, and it doesn't matter what someone else says about it. We gotta love our nose or hair, whatever, everything about us. We have to embrace that. We really do, because the thing is, and it's the way life is. Because if you are confident, and you guys know this, when someone walks into the
Yeah,
room
I was just
and,
gonna
and
say
they're
that.
confident and they don't give two about what you want to say, people respect that person. But if you're a person that you're trying to conform every 2 seconds, and every time someone says something, you're cowering, you're like and you're not sure about yourself, people pick up on that and they react to you they react to you in a certain way, right? So if you are able to like hold your head high, you know yourself,
Yeah.
not because you're trying to put up a facade, but because you genuinely appreciate who you are, the individual that you are, your hair, your face, your eyes, whatever. Like even my nostrils, I'm like, oh, they're too big. I love them. They fit my face still, right? So I'm like, it's mine. And you own up to who you are and you embrace that. Who cares about someone else's beauty standard? Who cares about what this person believes? You are a human just like I'm a human. You got like two legs like me, two eyeballs, a brain, hands. You can do stuff. I can do the same things as well. You are not at a higher level than me because you look different than I do. Where does that even make sense? You're just like me. You're another person. You should love yourself as you are, whoever you are. And me, I'll do the same for myself, and I can appreciate you as an individual. I can, no doubt about it. But at the same time, I have to be able to appreciate myself as I am. And if you have that, just like anything else, when you have that level of confidence in who you are, other people will pick up on it and they'll see it, and they will be forced, even subconsciously in their minds, to respect you as a person, because you will accept nothing less. And you're not going to go around and like lord yourself over people, but by just the presence that you emanate, because of just your confidence in yourself and the love that you have for yourself, people will pick up on it. And even if they don't, that's their business. You just love yourself, and you're not going to let me think less of who I am because you don't approve of it. I was born this way. I was born black. This is me. I got to love myself.
Exactly.
And you were born the way you are, and you should love yourself as well. But don't think that you had no. First of all, you had no choice. This statement is even irrelevant, because I was gonna say you have no choice the way you were born. I'm like, that's irrelevant. I'm not even, because that sounds like it has a negative connotation, right? Like you're like, well, I was born black, so I got to deal with it. No, that's not the case.
Yeah.
I love the way I am. So for those of you guys who are watching this out there, whoever you are, love yourself, appreciate who you are. Love yourself, appreciate who you could be. Have more melanin like this, or be as dark as this phone. Like, embrace yourself. Embrace yourself, and it starts with you. It doesn't start outside. A lot of us think it starts outside, but it starts inside. The person that you become, the person that you are, will create the environment around you. It's very, very important. It goes out, it doesn't come in, right? It can come in if you allow it, but if you push it out, if it's coming from inside, you can change the world around you. So that's that. I'm sorry, I went off now.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Oh,
Well,
no.
I mean, just go ahead. Do you want to say something?
Oh, no. Were you gonna finish the thought?
No, well, I was just gonna say to pull it back because this whole colorism thing came up from something you saw with a NFL football player saying he was making a toast
Yeah.
to biracial. So basically, um, like in other words, there's this putting down of um of having black children. Basically, is
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that being an issue.
Yeah, it's man, yeah, but it's so important. There are just so many things, and even someone called last week, and they spoke about this thing with the media where the darker you are, apparently you should be more aggressive. So it's like the darker you are as well, the more aggressive you are, whether you're male or female, you're aggressive. The more aggressive you are, and the paler you are, the more meek, the more gentle, the more nice you are, and all these things. So there's
Yeah.
so many negativity that or negative things and traits that they stack up. If you look at black, you understand, like just black or being dark, and just use that as a platform like this, and you look at all the negative traits that are stacked on this thing. There, it's so high, and then if you look at something else, it's so low. So you think if it's negative, trust me, they can ascribe it to being black or aggressive, this, that, this or the other, which is dumb. And the thing is, I know that we speak about blackness or black people as a monolith, but the truth of the matter is we're individuals, right? We're individuals. So you that's watching right now, you can be very different. You can be diametrically opposed to who I am. You can be different. You can be the opposite of who I am, and we look the same way. It's just the way it is. It's the sum of your experiences, who you are, your upbringing, all the things you take in. So we are individuals. So you can. It's not wise to judge a person by the way they look. And there's a book that I keep recommending, and y'all should get it, especially people who are prejudiced and biased. It's called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. It's an amazing book. It is an amazing book. This guy won a Nobel Peace Prize. The book is an amazing book, and it talks about System 1 and System 2 as it relates to how the mind works. You understand? So there's this part of your mind that's really, really lazy, right? And what it does is, it doesn't, even if a person is intelligent. There was a study done as well where they said you should differentiate between intelligence and being rational. So apparently when we encounter someone, our rational mind usually doesn't is not the first one to act. It's usually system one, which is, it's like we judge people based on resemblance. You understand what I'm trying to say? So this person resembles
Yeah.
this. So as a result, you react to them a certain way. So if this person looks a certain way that resembles something else that you've seen somewhere else, whether it's media, etc., you react to that person based on what you've seen, what they resemble. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what they have or what they've done. It is, okay, this person resembles this, or they're dressed in this way. Okay, black skin. Well, that's okay. I guess that's what this is. And oh, this person is this way. So like that's, and even if, and it's funny because in the book, when you're I think the book explains bias so well. It goes so deep. It's so complex that, and I think it also offers an answer to the question where we're like, how can these people react to people in such a way when they should be intelligent? They're supposedly intelligent, but yet still, when it comes to this type of behavior with race relations or whatever, they're primitive, and it goes so deep.
Yes.
So it's a book that I think they never really spoke about race too deep, but they talk about, it's more about like social psychology and stuff like that. There's a lot of different things inside of it, but it's a book that when you read it, you can understand the way people's minds work, and you can understand bias so well. And it doesn't matter if a person is really intelligent or educated and having a PhD and 10 PhDs or whatever, they're still susceptible to biases and all these things. It's an amazing book. Y'all need to get it. Thinking Fast and Slow by, so you got fast thinking and slow thinking. Fast thinking is the type of thinking where the moment I see you, the first thing that comes into my mind without me even applying any effort. And then slow thinking is effortful thinking. You're trying to compute, maybe you're doing trigonometry or Pythagoras theorem, or you're trying to work something on algebra,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, and you got to like really stop. If someone asks you right now, like, what's 9,055 multiplied by 822, first of all, you probably won't even attempt to even do the math. You're
I
just
Yeah.
didn't even hear the
You're
numbers.
just like, what?
I didn't even hear the numbers.
Yeah, even if someone's like 712 multiplied by, I don't know, 35, some people would be like, I'm not even going to think about that. It's like I'm reading a name and it's too long and you're like, you just skip over the name. It's a Russian name, you're just like, I'm not even going to read that name. You jump to the next word. It's like, because you don't want to engage in effortful thinking. And that's the way a lot of people react. And there's another book that talks about, like I spoke about this before and I've never really shared it, but this thing with your skin. To some people, our skin is what you'd call, it's a trigger feature. Right, just like what I'm talking about, fast thinking, your skin to some people is a trigger feature. So when they see your skin, it elicits a certain response right as they see your skin. And they did a study about birds. I think it was robin, and when they see the certain color of the feathers, like there's a certain response that thing elicits, right? And then if you even if you had like a fake, like a what do you call it, like a doll or something, and you put the same feathers on it, or on the ground, this bird will attack it.
Okay.
Just because of just the way it is, so it commands this type of reaction
It's kind
and
of like
response.
the bulls when they show the bull red.
Maybe I'm not sure what the science is behind that, but possibly. But it's the same thing. So when I'm reading all these different books that has nothing really to do with race or whatever, but I can see a parallel. I'm like, snap! I'm like, this is why certain things happen. So when a person see you as a black person immediately without knowing anything about you, they don't even see you as who you are. The first thing they see is your color. It triggers something, and then they don't see you as a person, but they see you as this color and all the things that this color represents. And even if they're so-called intelligent, it's hard for them to fight that thing. But it goes so deep. But you know what? It's so. What I do is I recommend like different books. I'm like, y'all should read this because I failed to explain this thing, just how deep it is. Like the more starting to read. Someone was calling. I just saw that.
Oh no, his call ended.
Oh.
You were talking. Maybe you were talking.
Oh, I was talking to.
You forgot.
Forgive me. I do this sometimes. Forgive me. Okay, let me shut up now.
Dark side.
I forgot that someone was on.
Sorry, he was.
Sorry, dark side. Oh God.
Thank you for calling, though.
Thanks for calling, man. Forgive me. I apologize. Oh God, like I was going so deep. I've never shared stuff like this before, but it goes so deep, and I'm like, I don't know, I went off on a tangent. Forgive me. It's really interesting stuff, and this is like kind of like my some of my conclusions based on what I've read. And the books are not about race or whatever, but it's about like different things, and I'm like, okay, I can see.
You actually forgot that he was on the line?
I never really. I guess I can't. No, I never did, but I should have stopped earlier because I could have stopped a lot sooner.
Okay.
Yeah, I think no. You know what? To be honest, I think I forgot after
the
last when I started the next thought. Forgive me. Oh God.
Darkside, please write in the comments. Everything okay?
Rising Lotus Wind. Listen, man, because I see some of your comments like you got tired of me. Listen. Come on now. He probably got tired of me, but forgive me.
Oh no,
man.
but also like the call probably wasn't free.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. I do that sometimes.
Japanese for you.
Okay.
Well, but let's pull in the reins, because we've gone kind of branched off into different topics. So okay, so we talked about colorism, we talked about prejudgment or whatever trigger factors. Okay, so like bringing it all back into the black love thing. Where does colorism play an issue?
Stop me.
Huh?
You stop me. You should be like, oh, Ryan's come on now. You're going off, bro. Okay, so sorry. Continue.
He's like all good. He's all good. Okay, good.
My apologies, man.
So like, he brought up the whole colorism factor. So like, okay, here's another caller.
Hello, you're live. Welcome. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Damaris.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Hi. So I'm actually married, and it's kind of weird.
Go ahead.
The call like went.
The call went?
Yeah. Can you call back again, please? like she was talking, and then like the icon just. What?
Yeah.
Oh snap! No, I think Skype actually first closed because it's not even
Oh
there.
no. Sorry,
Wait, where's it?
Give us a second. Our Skype closed. So
Right.
we're gonna open our Skype back and give us a call back. Sorry.
Wait.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I guess it's about to be a fire call. Like it's like snap. Okay, it's on again.
It's open again, Demir. Sorry for that.
What was the number again? The
Please
first 3
call
digits.
back.
Yeah, can you call back, please? Sorry about that. For some
The
reason,
call
this thing.
ended at such a
Right? It's like one of those things you want to hear more. You're like, tell me more.
Weird, and then it just.
What? No, there's audio somewhere. Where's that? Is that it? I hear something. Oh, it might be the computer.
Is it?
No, it's not. I had a. Okay, can the person call back again? We're waiting for you. We're giving you like a few seconds. We're just waiting. Like, it might take her a while to call back.
Okay.
But it's open, so once you call, we'll get to it. So you were saying something, right? You were talking about the relation between colorism and maybe the black love thing.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, I was trying to ask you, or I wanted to bring that up to people. Like, how do you feel like that?
Okay, here we go. She's back.
Here we go.
Hello, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. The application closed.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Yeah. Sorry, our Skype closed on you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's not you. It's not you. Our Skype just shut down.
But you left us like in limbo now because we're so curious because you said like you're married and it's weird, and then it just went down. We're like, oh snap! I'm like, what is about to come? Yeah.
I mean, I guess because okay, so like I never really thought I was gonna like get married or like fall in love, but it did happen, and I'm very happy. We've been together since we were like children. So he was like 12 and I was 13, and I'm 23 now.
Okay.
So,
oh wow.
it's been a long time.
So you guys are like what do you call it? Like it's like sweethearts, like.
Why do you say it's weird though? Why do you say it's weird?
I guess it's weird because like every relationship, like sometimes people like I guess they prejudge people's relationship and they think that our relationship is super perfect just based on how long we've been together.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. Relationships, no matter how long you've been with someone, there's always, because there's like, okay, I think someone once said, they were like, love is kind of like, or a relationship is kind of like a game of Jenga. So like everything gets stacked to the top, and not just like the good stuff, but the bad stuff, right?
Okay.
So you have this long list and long like of things you did and things they did, or just other things that have happened,
Yeah.
So it's definitely not perfect. But interestingly, the only way like I don't really feel like colorism has really affected our relationship like in a negative way, like in the black love side, but there's always the assumption that we're not together because people say that I'm either too light for him or he's too light for me.
Oh wow.
Like so people assume that my man should be darker skinned, so it's kind of weird. I think that's kind of weird.
Oh, wow. People think all sorts of things. But what have you learned about marriage?
Interesting.
What have you learned in your journey? How long have you been married so far?
It's been like we've been together technically for 10 going on 11 years, but we've been married for 3.
Okay.
And I would say I've learned that love is kind of like a spectrum of emotions. Like you feel so many things at once, and that marriage is at the end of the day, you're not gonna be 100% like everything to that person, no matter how much you love them.
What could you articulate that a little bit, just for me to understand?
Okay, so like there's gonna be things that no matter like how much you want like someone to be a little bit like, I guess like even when you love someone, they may not be like still your ideal person in a lot of different ways.
Well, I see. So you mean like everything about that person won't be something that you would like? Like is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Like so they won't be like this perfect. Okay, understood.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Oh really?
I did that.
I was just like,
Oh my god.
Is she trying to kill me on live? Look at that,
No,
right?
that's not
But
what I meant.
oh, I get it. I'm just like,
Oh my God.
I was just like, are you like saying something about me? I'm like, what's going on? But I think no, I understand. Yeah,
Oh,
no, I understand though. There's gonna be certain things that, yeah, like for instance, even with my wife, they're pet peeves, right? Sometimes I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, so that's what I want people to get. It's not perfect, but still, like, what really is like perfect in life, right? It's like life itself is imperfect, and there's beauty in that, right? And it's all about just compromise and working together and just going through it, right? So it can be beautiful. Trust me, like a person that you never
and
knew, two strangers coming together, and then you make one world, and it's amazing. After you get through
and it
some of the
and it
challenges.
and I think the weird part is a lot of the reasons why a lot of people end up alone
Hmm.
is because they don't want to, like, I don't know how to say it. People think that they have options. I like before, like when I was younger, you met with people in person. Like, not to disrespect anyone who meets online or people who like they meet people via people, but it's like just the interactions are like different. Like, people will know someone for a year and then have a baby with them and then wonder why things don't work out. And my situation was kind of similar to you guys. Like, we became friends and we actually didn't have that much interest in each other romantically before we started
Mm,
dating.
interesting.
Like, it wasn't like immediate, like, oh, love. It definitely wasn't love at first sight. It was definitely just like two people getting to know each other because we really liked each other, but we didn't know that we would be like,
Hmm.
oh, like in love.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe what I'm not. I think there are benefits to that, and I think one thing that does is it allows a person to be less guarded. I think so. Certain things that they might display that, like during that friendship period, right? There might be things when you're in a romantic relationship that you might reserve, right? So I think
Yup.
that. So this is just my theory. I could be wrong, but I think that's one benefit of maybe talking to a person as a friend first. You get to see all these things, and then if something develops and then it's a mutual, then you can move on to the next level, the next stage, right? And even when you do that, there will still be things. But I think someone called last week and she said black love is beautiful. I think all love is beautiful, but definitely like marrying a black woman, like I'm in love, right? So it's not it's yeah, it's not a you know what, we want to make sure that people get from this, that black men and black women, that the ones that seem to be disconnected find a way
To
to
come
meet each other,
together,
to
to
come
come
together,
together,
right?
yeah.
But at the same time, it's about individuals as well, right? So
Mm.
so you know the type of person that you're looking for, and sometimes it's
Mhm.
it might be a person that you weren't even thinking about. Like, so you probably have this thing, like this person that you've draw, you have this picture, and you're looking for this picture perfect prince charm or whatever you're looking for. Sometimes it might come in a different package. You never know. Like, so that I think love is one of those things where, like, you gotta like just be open, right? Which is really important because sometimes you don't know what you want. Like, you don't know what you need or you want. Sometimes you think you have an idea because of what you've seen on TV or whatever the case is, and then you're limiting yourself, and then you have so many your standards, and what do you call it? So many different boxes to be checked off. You got like 10,000 boxes, and you get like 998, and you're like, oh, these last two. You can get those last two, and then you're off.
Mm.
Right. So I think, I don't know, like maybe I don't know if that even made any sense, but all I'm trying to say is, like, as a person, just look for that person, and it's gonna be a journey like anything else. It might be love at first sight, and you guys are living in the roses and honeymoon for the rest of your life. It's possible, but also, like, if work comes in and you got to work at it, that's not something that's uncommon. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people divorce, because when they reach that place, they decide to just dissolve the marriage. But if you can persist through that, just like anything else, when a muscle rips and you work out, it gets better. The more you
Yeah.
run, the better you get. You go through this breaking point. If you can make it through, you're better than you were before. It's one of those things, I think. The bones, the muscles heal, and they're stronger than they were before. And that's just the way it is. So if you are in a relationship and you really love the person, and you can see that there's all these things that you like, and there might be a few things that you don't like, and if they're not that critical or not that bad or serious, it might rub you the wrong way, or it might be a pet peeve. But if you can live with it, maybe a compromise might be something that you can do right at that point. But I think it might, if it's not perfect, like perfect, I don't think anyone will be. But if it's something
I
that is
agree.
just if it's something that's there and it's bugging you and you can't live with it, then maybe you gotta I don't maybe you gotta figure something out. But if it's challenging at some point, that doesn't mean that it's not meant to be. A lot of things in life that takes time and are hard are is just the way the process is. It's just the way it is. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you're doing something.
That's true.
Yeah, you're going to
And
school
any
and
and honestly, I want to say to the people listening, anything that is worth having is worth fighting for and
Indeed.
to work at.
Indeed.
yeah, that's another thing as well. So don't be too quick to throw in a towel, right?
Yeah.
And at
Yeah.
least if there's one person there that's fighting, like there needs to be a fighter. So if you're the person that wants it and the other person is kind of like you gotta like fight for dear life. So and until even maybe the person turn around and start seeing things your way. And I guess another word I could use for this or phrase is persistent in love. And there's an interview that's coming up where someone went deeper in that. And sometimes persistent in love is really important. And it's funny because love is a thing that's very very complex. And true love is unconditional, and it's something that even myself I'm getting used to. And I think a lot of people have a hard time with that. Like I battle with that a lot of times when you're thinking about just like what real love is. Like true love is a love that really doesn't depend on anything, and that's what the truest nature of love is. But a lot of us have conditional love, and I think that's most of us have that, right? If they don't do
That's
this,
true.
if they don't do this, if they don't look like this,
Expectations.
if this doesn't work out, I'm gone in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, if you really say you like a person, if you're gonna use the word love, its essence is unconditional, right? Which means that even if, right, for instance, like my daughter, like if she does something bad, I'm gonna be pissed or whatever. I'm like, whatever, maybe scold her, whatever the case is. But that love remains the same. I'm not gonna hate my daughter because like I don't know she spilled juice on the table or whatever, did something naughty or whatever the case is. No, I love her still, even in that. And it's so complex. There are so many layers. But all I'm trying to say is that things might not be perfect, but listen, you can be perfectly imperfect. If that
Yeah.
even makes any
But
sense.
sorry, and sorry to cut in, but I just do want to say something, just in case, and this is crossing anybody's mind. Even though we're talking about this and persisting in love, we do not advocate for abuse, physical abuse, or anything like that. For anybody to persist and in being like physically abused or anything like that in a relationship. We don't
Yeah,
we don't advocate for that. We're talking
Definitely
about
not,
we're talking
no.
about just communication issues and stuff like that, and maybe a few like pet peeves and bad habits that annoy you. But we're not talking about like yeah
Yeah,
anything serious like
and
that.
it's
We,
fun.
we if you're in that kind of situation, no,
Yeah,
no,
because that
yeah.
your life could be in danger, and that's something that we don't advocate for that.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
But
the
one,
Go
sorry.
I know
ahead.
it sounds kind of crazy,
Mhm.
but one more thing that I like to practice in my relationship is like I like to call it like radical honesty. So I'm like pretty honest about everything.
Yeah,
And it helps.
Yeah,
It does
yeah.
help.
I think I'm like that too.
he's definitely
I
like
think
that.
I'm definitely like that. So I'm like, if there's something, I'm like, yeah, she'll know it. So I'm like,
Yup.
I'm literally like, I'm like, I just say it as it is. So I'm like, if this is the case, and because the reason why I'm so honest is because I want to communicate clearly. Because my mind
Yup.
is that if I let you understand exactly what this thing is, there's no room for misunderstanding. I explain
Yup.
it, so I'm not expecting you to read my mind like a mind reader, right? If there's something, I'm
Yup.
communicating it, and I expect the same thing.
Yeah.
So that way, that's why even this discussion itself, I believe that if a black woman would share exactly what they're feeling and really explain it, and then black men do the same, then I believe that some type of understanding can happen. Some insight would be given that we can actually use to change things. So that's what I believe. Communication is very, very, very important. Sometimes we would much rather not say it, but the truth of the matter is, as much as I'm like, Jay, read my mind, she ain't gonna read it. If I'm here
No.
and I'm like, Jay, read my mind. I'm like, if you want to go to a place, and I'm like, wait, I want to go to this place. I'm like, let's go to this place. And I'm just like, read my mind. I'll be sitting down and turn gray, turn into a bone like skeleton, waiting for you to read my mind. Because you can't. None of us can read anyone's mind. Like you gotta like say it. Do you want this? Tell me. Good, I understand. Then we can move forward. But if I'm gonna be over there being cheesed off or pissed, wishing that you'd read my mind ain't gonna work. I'm sorry. I know, and sometimes women don't want to say stuff. They want to, you should know. I'm like, listen, you better say it because we're not mind readers, okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much for your insight and for sharing sharing with us.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay, bye. I hope I. Sorry to run off the phone just They say something?
No,
Okay,
no,
cool.
no, no. But we were talking for a long time, so I don't. But thank you so much for calling. No, actually, I wanted to talk more, but I also don't want to talk while the person's just waiting
On the
and
line.
listening.
Yeah.
And
I guess I
listening.
keep forgetting that people
Yeah,
pay for
exactly.
the phone call because we don't really call that much these days, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
actually, what I was gonna say was, oh gosh, somebody wrote something in the comments, and I wanted to comment on it, and then where is it? Okay, I can't see the comments here. Oh, somebody said they often get in trouble if they're too honest, and I would say to that, honesty and clear communication is one of the best things that you can have in a relationship. And just because the other person has a hard time listening to what you have to say, if they really, really want to pursue the relationship with you, they'll stick around, because even after they have to swallow that hard pill that you just served them, if they genuinely want to stick around, they'll take it into consideration. And if you're willing to be that honest and still work something out with them, then it's a stepping stone to move forward. But if a person is ready to jump ship after you having giving them a dose of honesty of what you really think, then maybe they're not the one for you.
Yes, it's complex, but I'm just saying, I keep harping on this because I know that people don't like discomfort. People don't like being uncomfortable, and that's why a lot of people don't exercise. Some people don't exercise because they ain't got the time, or they think they don't have the time. And some people because they don't like discomfort. They don't like the pain that's going to come with it. But the thing is, you got to go through that part sometimes, and a lot of people give up there. And I keep pressing on this because I think it's something that I keep using this word, is pervasive, is everywhere. And if something is challenging, we don't want to do it, but those are the things that are worthwhile. Those are the things that will get you more results and rewards, right? So I'm saying, like, if you're in that relationship, and even if there's a guy said that he loves black women, but approaching them is intimidated, or what was the word? They seem unapproachable. I'm like, just go beyond that mindset and actually try to talk to them. I think if we're both, I think you should go beyond the feeling that you have. I know it might be. I don't even. I wish I could, man. If, let's just talk to you guys who are watching, because I know it's a major issue, and we might not be able to reach the people who aren't listening or watching this right now. But for those of you guys who are watching and you might find yourself in that situation, man, just like communicate. I implore the black men to communicate. I implore the black women to communicate. Talk about how you're truly feeling, like, really, right? Have a conversation, a civil conversation. Talk. If you're a black man, talk to your black women friends who are friends, and really just share your thoughts and try to get back from them as well, like what they're thinking about it. Because I feel like these conversations are had in isolation, right, independent of one another. So black men, they convene over there and they're talking about this, and black women are on this side, and no one is talking about, like, there needs to be some communication between both groups. I keep saying that because I think that's the missing link. Because that's the missing link. I really think it is, because all the conversations I've had, it seems, I'm like, okay, if this is a reality, these guys don't know this. I'm like, come on, y'all need to be talking. Because I've heard this thing. Who said it? Someone that called in, or someone that wrote something, that people that some of the black men want to talk to them but not marry them. Like, they're like, okay, they're willing to do this, but they don't want to be in a relationship, or they don't want to. So I don't get it. Like, I'm like, that's I've heard that from more than one person. So I'm trying to wrap my mind around that you like the person and all these things, but you don't want to take it to the next level. And it reminds me of a conversation I had in Korea, where someone was like, look, some of the Koreans, they will talk to black women, right? But they don't want to take them home to their parents. Or some other people, like, they will do whatever, but it's like it stops there. It's like, well, we can't marry. Or even other countries as well, some people, they're like, well, I can't go beyond this place.
And is that because of and is that usually because of the loyalty to their culture and to their family traditions?
I don't know.
For the Koreans,
I
I
don't know.
mean.
So yeah, I don't know, but something needs to happen. Well, hopefully we've inspired one person to think about these things. And I know we spoke about a lot. I think we went all over the place today.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to I know we've been talking for a long time. We probably need to close it up, but I think overall, communication, and just I think as in before we got married, I wanted to learn about marriage or hear from other people, how to, because divorce and all these kind of things are so prevalent, right? Or people like like growing into their 30s, 40s, 50s, still single is also prevalent, right? So, like, okay, we know that marriage takes work. So what kind of skills do you need to make a marriage work? And that's just it, is that like you can't get the full answer from someone else's experience, but you can at least learn, because there are, I've done some research, read some books, that there is a pattern that does take place when people enter into marriages. And a lot of people say that things don't actually get better until year 5. For some people, actually it takes about 5 years to really gel. And even if you've been with a person for a long time, something changes when you actually decide to be committed in marriage. For a lot of people, there's some people who date for like years.
And sometimes you have something in your mind, like you may want to, like, you want to leave or whatever the case is, and it's like, so that there's a thing that's pulling you away, so you're not even fully committed to it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out from the get go, and as a result of that, any efforts from the other person, even though it's not really doing what it ought to do or having the effect that it should have, because you're kind of like you're in, like you're out and you're in. And it's the next. I think this is one thing that I guess this has developed as we spoke, as we're talking, is that what do you call it? When you're in a marriage, I think people have this thing. It's a fairy tale, because I think it's all these movies that people may see, and it seems so perfect when you're watching a movie and there's no issues. Just like the movies, right? Things move so fast in the movie, and you're like, okay, look at this. But I think people have this expectation in their mind that love like that should be perfect, and I think that's what it is. So it's like, if it's a romantic relationship, it should be like, like Romeo and Juliet. It should be perfect. It should be unblemished. Nothing should be wrong. And I think people go in there with that expectation, and because of that, when something doesn't go the way that they were expecting, then they're quick to leave. But the thing is, the truth of the matter is, that's not love. Maybe eventually it might get really close to that after you guys have worked together and really like become one. I think that is a work in progress. But if you go in it with the wrong expectations from the get go, there will be a problem. I think that's what it is. So just like you said, reading the books, if someone prepares themselves mentally, and I keep talking about running and stuff like that because I do a lot. It's like, when if you're going for a long run, and the stages that you'll go through mentally and physically, and you can anticipate those stages, and you have you got like an answer for all these questions, and a course of action for a certain the way you feel, or for certain stages during the run or whatever, then you're better equipped. But if you go out there for the first time and you're thinking it's going to be easy and this and that, whenever the first thing comes, you're like, snap, you're going to stop. But if you anticipate it and you prepare for it, then you have a better chance of finishing the race. So relationally is the same thing. Don't go in there and think it's going to be like Romeo and Juliet, super perfect, and it's going to be all roses and petals on the bed and all chocolate everywhere, and the chocolate and strawberry fountain. If you if you go there thinking that from the get go, listen, you're gonna have a big problem. The moment, listen. So if you go there and understand that it's work, you'll be good. You wanted to say something?
Oh yeah, I got something good to say. Okay.
Sorry.
So
it's unknown number.
It's hopefully that was a troll. What I wanted to say was that, like, okay, we want to talk about media influence and just the things that we see, and just patterns that we see as well. we're so used to seeing the physical aspect of relationship being highlighted as the pinnacle of it, like in regards to sexual relations or whatever. And people are more drawn to that, like even physical appearance. So like, of course, that's a huge part of it. But what I'm saying is there's so much more to like establishing a deep relationship with somebody beyond the sexual aspect. And I think even as a black community, we are plagued with this hypersexualization of images in our music, in our movies, that becomes like this thing that it's all about that. And because of that, I think as well we see that problem in our communities where we have a lot of babies, a lot of single parent homes with no committed relationship. You know what I mean? Because kids come as a result of that. And then also I think as well where we have issues of infidelity, people not really understanding or wanting to be in committed relationships, but are just open to having multiple partners and having multiple kids with multiple people. So I think there's so many levels. If we want to talk about the black community and building strong black families, these are issues that we have to talk about, because there's this hypersexualization within the community where it's just all about
I think that's a worldwide thing.
I think so.
It's a big thing when it's a
huge thing.
It's a big thing, and the thing is, even if you're married too, like you're being bombarded with so many things. Like you gotta be like strong like a horse, like you understand what I'm saying? You gotta stand, you gotta be strong like like a oak tree to literally to resist some of the things that you're being bombarded with, right? So like every 2 seconds, all these things, and it's a work in progress. It's something that you got to work up to. You got to build that muscle of resistance to like all the things that are out there. So there's that as well. So I think it's a global thing more so than a black thing in terms of that. Okay, so the last caller, and we're gonna conclude shortly after. Hello, welcome. You're live. Hello.
Oh, hello, Ronzo. Sorry. Hello, it's me.
What's up?
Who's me?
Oh yeah. Sorry, it's Dark Side.
Dark Side.
Oh, Dark Side. What's up?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just wanted to finish a quick thought, and then you guys can get it over with.
Okay.
Sure.
I just wanted to say like the last thing was when it came to the Korean video that Janique talked about. I believe it was when that girl was talking about how like she would go on Tinder, and then she matched with a black man, and then the black man, all the black man said was good luck on chasing your Asian men endeavors or something like that, and then just proceeded to unmatch her. And
that was in Korea.
Okay, no. Sorry, Dark Side. That's not the one I was referring to.
Which one was that again?
That one was Hokkaido. That was the girl
Hokkaido, because that's what
wearing
I'm saying.
It's
that's
actually
Japan.
a different one. But go ahead. You want to make a point about that video?
Well, no, I wanted to go around it. I remember after watching your videos, I also had another video pop up. It's about an interracial couple, which was Asian, and then which was an Asian woman and a black man. And I go under the comment, and I see like a young girl who proceeded to bash on her stuff a little bit. She was like, well, if I was the same complexion of the Asian woman, and she was like 8 years old, 10 years old, said like I would have probably been married by now, or like loved by now, because like they placed emphasis on that girl being like a gamer and all that stuff. But then she told the guys the real. She was like, you guys are not looking for a gamer, you guys are looking for an Asian gamer, which proceeded to get a lot of bashing, because the guys are like, oh, well, you're young, you don't know about this. And then they called her like a tar baby, all that other stuff, which was that's what I kind of battle with. I'm like, is it okay to finally, is it okay to promote interracial dating just to stop letting people get hurt by the same people again and again and again, or like just stick in there until you find the right one?
I see what you're saying.
For me personally, like if I should give my personal, I think, look, when I say love, like, because I understand people, it's a little bit not really like all of us. There's this big question mark when it comes down to people, but I think I understand just love in a sense that you can fall in love with a person. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if they're a different race or whatever. Like, it's possible. A person is a person,
Yeah.
and that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they're different. If your ideals and just your personalities match, and your goals and all these different things that, like when you're talking to a person, like if you and the person, like, match, and you're a good match, good fit, even if you're like the same or not, I think you can fall in love with a person. If you fall in love with a person, like, you fall in love with a person. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're saying, but for me personally, I think, so I can't bash that. You understand? But I'm saying,
Yeah.
even in the presence of that, I think it's important for people. Like, of course, that comment is dumb as that comment that whoever wrote, these people, you don't listen to those people. But I'm saying,
Yeah.
as a people, as a black person, we should be able to love ourselves, right?
Mm.
And I'm like, listen, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So if you people will say stuff, and we're humans, and sometimes you might take it a little bit too deep. But you should know who you are, and then that way it's easier for you to resist some of the bad things that people can say about you.
I agree. I agree. I agree. Here's my last point. I believe there's a lot of pride in both sides. Not, of course, your channel. Your channel is very like, I like it. It has a very good feel to it. But I go to other black channels. Like, for example, I went to this other guy who was
Don't call any
studying.
names. Yeah, don't call any names.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call it. Yeah, I went to this other guy's channel. He studies in Poland. He's in medical school.
Okay.
All other stuff. I found it very interesting. But then I proceeded to dig deeper into his channel, and then you can see that like he promotes that, oh, don't go for black women, don't go for dark skinned women. Just
Yeah.
just what you should do is just go out to these other countries, and then you'll find better. You'll discover what
Uh,
true
Is this a
femininity is. And
is this a black
yeah,
person?
And it's a black guy?
yeah, yeah, black guy.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Yeah. So see, so that's the type of mentality that I'm talking about, and
Yeah,
and even though that person is saying all that, it would be good if, for instance, someone with that mindset, shared why they
Why?
think the way they think, and then we can have this is what I'm trying to do, and get like a woman to share the way that she feels as well. But I'm like, someone like that is missing out. And the thing is, it's the
yeah,
individual as well. It's the individual. Someone called last week, and they spoke about, like, attracting a certain type of person, and choosing better. Because people are people, and as much as we talk about, like race and different things, people are people, right?
yeah,
So one black person might differ from another black person, and one Asian person might differ from another Asian person. It's possible that they can literally be the exact opposite. That's the
mm,
way life is. So I'm saying sometimes too, it's like choosing. And as I said, for me,
yeah,
like, I was choosing, right? Thinking, okay, da 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 da. But I was horrible at choosing, right? So I kind of just released it and let it go and say, you know what, okay. And, and then, like, I found my wife. So sometimes
yeah,
that is the person as well. So if you meet a black person that's not the right person for you, then you find one that is, because I'm sure that person is out there. And as you're looking, they're looking for you as well. You understand? So
yeah,
we need to engage in introspection as well, and just really find out, okay, what do I keep doing wrong? Sometimes we gotta do that. Go for a long walk somewhere, find somewhere quiet, go in the mountains, I don't know, the forest, the bush, somewhere on the rooftop,
yeah,
and literally just, or a basement, and and engage in introspection, and just look at if you're a person that's pursuing a relationship. If you're not, then it's whatever. But if you are, and you genuinely want someone or something like that, because it's a different experience, right? Connecting with another human on that level, it's a different experience altogether. It
yeah,
teaches you more about yourself as well, and humanity on a whole, as a whole. But if you go there and you're saying to yourself, okay, what are the patterns I'm noticing in my life? I keep going gravitating towards this person. This is the result, and this is the case, and I put too much emphasis on this thing versus that thing, and this keep being the result of why these things end. And so try to, like, look into yourself and see, okay, is there something that I'm doing wrong, or is it that I go for the wrong people all the time, or is it that I see red flags that I ignore? What seems to be the reason why this thing persists? And you do that. then you can have have an understanding, and then have an action plan as to how you're going to tackle this thing, and go as well and get information from maybe the books or online to understand this thing more. But if you know who you are and see and you find out what the mistakes are and you analyze that, then from jumping from one person to the next, then the next relationship comes after that might be a better one. You might have a fighting chance. You were saying
Yeah,
something? Okay.
yeah. That's what I really enjoy about like the your podcast and like the millennial generation. But like the thing is, I agree with most of what you're saying. But what I'm saying is that how how would you, if you know
Mhm.
your daughter, I believe she's gonna be a Gen Z, is that
I
what
think
they call it?
maybe.
Yeah,
No idea.
yeah. What I'm saying is, yeah, I know. When I talk to some of my peers in class, and
Yeah.
they do date out too, and I ask them, I don't attack them. Why? I ask them, oh, why is that the case? They proceed to like bash. My question to you is like, how do you still teach your daughter or somebody else to still love themselves and love their own people after all that?
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. So, what's your age group?
Uh, I'm 17, so
Okay, and you're talking about black people, right?
yeah,
Okay, so you're saying if you're in an environment where they're bashing black people, like for instance, if you're in high school or something, and they're like bashing black people, that's what you're saying. If your child is in that environment, how do you teach them how to love themselves in that environment? Is that what you're saying? That's what you're asking?
yes,
Okay, okay. So there's a lot that I think there's a lot that goes into that, because I think it starts early. If you're the parent, it starts early, right? Because you have these years, the formative years. If you can really pass on certain things to your child in that at that stage, then there are a lot of things that is almost irreversible, or it will lay a foundation, like a solid foundation, if you do it right, that when they find themselves in those situations, they are equipped for it. So I think that's a big part of it. But I think if you're going to start telling them about self-love, and by your actions toward them they are insecure of who they are, when they get into those situations and those environments, then they won't be prepared for it, they won't be equipped for
yeah,
that. So I think that's a big part of it, a part of it as well. So you got to do that as much as you possibly can, and then you got to leave them to like is you can't protect them from everything, but you just got to rely on, or just have faith and trust that you know what I taught my son or my daughter, once they're out of my sight, that they will rely or call upon these things and remember these things in my absence. So that's all you got to do, and you got to reinforce that, right? Because look, as I said, it's important. It's something that you gotta like do over and over again to let them know. Right? I worry about my daughter a little bit, because I know she's in Asia,
yeah,
she's in Japan, and she's beautiful, and in my mind I'm like, okay, of course she's black, and I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that she loves herself, she loves who she is, and that she's not looking
yeah,
around her and saying, okay, there are all these people who don't look like me. Is something wrong with me? Am I still beautiful? I want to make sure that like I put that in her from now, so she knows that when she walks out
yeah,
there, that even though people look different, she can appreciate them for being who they are, but also she has a greater appreciation for herself, and understanding who she is and love who she is in the presence of difference. So that's what I would say.
yeah, yeah. Ranzo, I would like to say thank you. You guys are inspirations, and enjoy your morning,
Okay.
afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yeah,
Take care.
Afternoon. Take care. Bye.
yeah. Take care. Bye.
Bye. I think someone came in,
Yeah,
and
I think someone came into
that
the
must be
room.
a parent.
It might be
Like,
his
get off the
mom.
phone.
What are
Like,
you doing? No, I'm
banging
joking.
down the door.
No,
But
but
yeah,
it's fine.
definitely. I think it's the onus is on the parents.
But I think in regards to, okay, so he was talking about his friends, and his friends are saying, oh, they don't want to be with like a black person or whatever.
Mm.
And I guess I guess the way to maybe help someone have a change of heart is to go deeper, just like my husband was saying. Why? And what preconceived notions do they have, or what experience do they have? And then, like, growing up, you know what your parents say around you, You know what I mean? And that tends to form it may form or maybe make you stay away from what your parents believe. But I mean, we see these little videos of these little kids saying outright racist things. Where do they get that from? Their parents, right? So growing up in a black household, you know what you can listen to the conversation of your parents, how they speak about other races, for example, or how they speak about their own race. If, for example, there might be colorism issues within a whole family. Me and my sisters, we all have different shades. Are we're like me and my three. There's three of us, and we all each have a different shade. One that's really light. Maybe I'm the medium one, and one that's really dark. If we're gonna talk about it, but we never grew up. That was never something that was ever talked about in my household, and we don't even unless you know what I mean. I don't really think about it. But some people grew up in a household where they were ridiculed for being the dark one. You know what I mean? So stuff like this may also affect a person's mindset in regards to having kids, or what kind of kids they want to have, and how their kids are gonna look.
No, it's
all kinds of
no,
stuff.
it's definitely true. That's 100% true, man. It's and you know what? The next thing too is media again. You know, every time you see it, you know, you're trying to consume content and you're seeing someone that doesn't look like you, and it goes in, all right? And it's like you have a greater appreciation for that person than you do yourself, you know. And and then that plays into, you know, who you might be drawn to or think is beautiful and all that. Someone wrote a comment just now that said, people date who they date. Just because someone is the same race as you doesn't mean that they're necessarily the right person for you. I've said that. I've said that it's people. It's a person, right? Like, if you're this race or that race, it doesn't mean that because we are both black means that it's gonna work, or if we're different, if it's gonna work. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about this discussion is about the rift between some black men and some black women. Who the black women, they're wondering what's going on with the black men, because it seems like the black men are disinterested. So my goal, okay, I'm not bashing anything or anyone or whatever, but my goal, so this discussion is about black love. We're talking about how can we bring, you know, those black women, right, who want these black men or desire these black men, for them to really communicate in such a way that they can understand each other and actually get together. Because just like what even Darkside said just now, you have some black men who don't want to date black women, like the guy that he spoke about in that country who said, "Oh, go here or go there because you'll find better than black women," and stuff like that. I'm like, what's that? So something like that. So I'm like, we want to understand that more, and try to like find a solution for that. I know it's really is highly individual, because it's about a person, because I don't think like that, right? So it's an issue that, you know, some people face, and we just want to find out why this is the case, and maybe they can share something, and we can get some insight, and maybe we can move forward in a positive way. But if we are going to pretend like the media and all these things don't affect the way black people perceive themselves, and some of the negativity that we see when it comes down to colorism and all these things, that if we pretend like these things are not a thing, we're lying to ourselves, because we know it is, right? So all I'm saying is, in addition to what this discussion is about, is that we need to love ourselves, and we need to like really love ourselves, right? And there's so much, man. It's like, even media, you watch media, you probably don't even notice it, but you know, you're seeing other people that are not like you. You have a great appreciation for them, not so much yourself, because you ain't seen yourself, and you internalize that maybe, and then you think the lighter you are, the better you are, and the darker you are. Because if you think about that, even the word, I remember I think there was something that Malcolm X even spoke about, even black or dark. It's usually, when you watch anime or any movies, the dark is always the villainous character, the bad one, the evil one. If it's dark, it means it's bad. If it's light, it means it's good. And everything dark is, and so I think that thing goes deep in your mind. You see a black cat running, you're like, oh my god, bad luck. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that when you think about it, so it goes deep. So I think for each person, I can't speak for the group, but for each person, I think we need to like really engage in introspection and really think about the things in our minds and try to find a way to remedy that individually and really look at the problem and say, do I suffer from colorism? You know, am I a person that, and really think about it right now, like you who are watching or listening to us right now, think about that. Pause for 5 seconds. Are you a person that think lighter is better than dark? Are you that person? Do you feel that way? When you look around, do you disqualify a woman or a man because he's darker? Or do you say, okay, you know what? And then some people might say, well, his preference is possible. But also there's influence, there's something that also influences that preference, especially when it comes on to stuff like this, because of just media consumption and just based on history overall. So sometimes we're like, well, no, this is the case, but I'm like, examine it for a while. You can tell us, you can lie to other people, but you know you can't lie to yourself. If you're in your corner, your quiet room, your quiet place, and you really unpack it, you might find something there. I'm not saying there's something there, but I'm saying there might be something there. And I think it needs to be, I'm trying to get a discussion going on within the group, but I think individually, if we can do that ourselves, we can really see and say, you know what, there might be a problem, because if I think this way, how many other people think this way? It might be an issue, and maybe I need to change the way I think. Maybe if you want to. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was gonna say something, but I totally forgot what I was gonna say. When I first touched you, I remembered, but now I don't.
You know, and then me using the word colorism, you know what? I don't even know the exact definition.
I remember what I was going to say.
I have, okay. Let me just look it up to make sure I'm not using that word incorrectly. Because when I say colorism, I'm talking about, this is what I mean.
Shadism. Shadism is another thing.
Look, I want to make sure that, so this is what I'm saying. So if I'm using that word incorrectly, what I'm talking about is if you think one color skin is better than another.
Superior.
Right? You're superior, yeah. So if there's a hierarchy in your mind in terms of complexion based on just complexion, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. So if colorism goes deeper than that, then I might be using it wrong. So I just want to make sure that someone's like, well, the actual definition is.
I just remembered what I was going to say. Growing up, okay, I specifically remember, especially in high school, when it came to like the lighter, and it's just something that I just remembered. When it came to like, you know, my lighter skinned male friends, you know, you kind of noticed that they only had an eye for, or at least for the most part, mostly had an eye for the fair skinned girls. And it would be kind of odd to see if they were attracted or wanted to be with a darker skinned girl. But it was common to see even the darker skinned guys only wanting a light skinned girl. But it was a rare thing, at least from what I remember from my growing up in my community, for a light skinned guy to want a dark skinned girl. So it was kind of a thing. It was kind of a thing. Not necessarily that we would talk about it, but you would just see it and you would hear them. You know what I mean? So it's there. It's there.
I guess.
And is it something that, you know, I kind of even forgot about because I don't know. But yeah, that was definitely a reality. Even when I was in elementary school, high school, you know, who do you like? And, you know, all the little drama about like, oh, I like this person, that person, or you know, this person likes that person, or whatever. So it's definitely there, and among small, young kids.
I think that's plays a role in maybe some of the things, and I think one thing that could help too is seeing more black people at the forefront, seeing more black people in movies, seeing more black people in TV shows, you know, seeing more black people in prominent positions where you can see them and you can look and say, okay, right. And there was another point that I was going to make as well, but definitely seeing more will help as well, because I feel like even for instance dolls and stuff like that, you know, like you need a doll too. Like my daughter, if we get a doll, it's going to be her complexion.
Yeah, right? And right now she doesn't have a doll.
Yeah, just because I want to make sure that she really loves who she is, right? Because I think maybe sometimes you can consciously question something, but I think certain things, a lot of things are subconscious. So, you know, you're a black girl and you have like a doll that's pale, I don't know. Like I'm like you might be like okay, and then for some reasons you're just thinking okay, well, okay, I like this doll or whatever. But I think if you see, you get books with characters that are your color. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I want you guys to understand because some people will. I want you guys to understand. I'm not. It's really hard because some people will think that you're against something because you're
Because
for
for
something
something
else.
else,
So if
yeah.
I'm for this, some people interpret that as well. If you're for this, it means you're against that. That's not the case. No. So if you're thinking that, that's not the case. If you want to hold that view, it's your business, but that's not the case. Like, so I'm saying, like a young girl, you're reading a book, black characters, that helps because you can see it. It's a thing that you don't see often. You're playing with a doll, a black doll with your hair, and you're like, oh, you got the same hair as me. You love your hair. It might help. I'm saying, doing all these things, watching TV shows with black characters, movies with black people. Of course, you can have mix and everything, but I'm saying to balance it out so people can have time, even though your family members are black, to have time to really appreciate your blackness, your complexion, just to appreciate it so that you see that there's nothing wrong with it, that you can go in different spheres of society, be looking the way you look, having the hair you have. You don't have to go to work and they're telling you, oh, you gotta like put your hair in this way, which I think is extremely disrespectful. You're gonna tell a person that you can't have your hair a certain way because your natural hair, like, well, you gotta do it like this. No, so I think these things help. The battery again is dying. This discussion keeps going on really, really long, but let's give our
Okay.
final thoughts so we can
Okay,
close
yeah,
really quickly.
yeah, and I mean, I'll just say it one more time as well. Like for our daughter, all her toys are like animals. She that I want to buy her a doll, but I haven't. It's very hard to find a black doll in Japan, so I'd have to buy one online. Anyhow, even growing up, I had black dolls, but guess what? They had straight hair. My. What a what a conundrum. So you've got that, even all that aspect too. So like, yeah, they're black and dark skinned too, but their hair is slick straight. Anyways, I'm not even gonna go into that.
Loyal to Justice, write the title of the book. We're gonna leave like in 2 minutes because this thing's gonna die.
Yeah, but
It's about
good
to die.
discussion. I was glad to be a part of part 2 of Black Love, even though we danced all over the place. But I think it was still a good conversation. And thank you for everybody who called and contributed in the chat. Yeah, there was somebody who posted saying they want to share their story about racism in India. This particular episode is about Black love, so we wouldn't have time to talk about that now. But for sure, in other live streams where we talk about maybe international experiences, for sure you can definitely call in and share your experience. No problem.
Guys, yeah, let us know. Do you want us to continue to have another part 3, or should we just move on to something else? Let us know in the comment section down below. And someone is asking if you're going to be live streaming tomorrow for our live exploration stream. Maybe. I'll let you guys know. Sorry, last week I never gave you guys an update. Forgive me for that. But guys, we just want to say thank you so much, guys, for watching. We appreciate you guys watching. This is a solution-driven discussion podcast. We just really want to make sure that we're having conversations about things that will help the black community. And we are for the black community. We're not against the other people, whatever the case is. But we got to be for ourselves because there's a lot that we're dealing with that we got to really remedy. So we're here for that. And also the Melanated Files interviews, the audio versions will also be available on the podcast as well. So it will be these discussions and the audio version of the Melanated Files interviews that some of you guys say are too long. So you can listen to it while you're driving, running, walking, cooking, doing something around the house. But yeah, guys, if you like this live stream, please give us a big thumbs up. And remember to subscribe if you're not subscribed, right, for weekly videos. And yeah, something else, okay.
Yeah. So and also if you have any suggestions, feel free to.
Okay, new topic. Okay.
Yeah, feel free to even message us if you have anything in particular that you want to talk about.
Yeah. Yep. Send that. Send us
Send us
a message and find us on Instagram as well, guys.
Yeah.
The Black XJP, THEBLACKEXJP on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook as well. We're there. So guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. And go out there and do something to help your community in whatever way, shape, or form it is. Be the change that you want to see. And if we all took that position, I think we would be good in a few years. There's a lot of work to do. But there are movements going on in the world, and through social media, I think the process will be expedited. So There's hope.
Yeah.
Oh, so loyalty. Yeah, call next week, please.
Yeah, sorry, we're
we've been on
closing
for
now.
we've been on for over 2 hours and 18 minutes. Yeah, so we gotta go.
It's been a long time.
Okay, guys,
Okay, yeah.
take care for now. So bye for now, guys. This has been the Melanated Files Podcast. If you're listening to us in podcast land, thank you so much for listening. And if you want to watch the live podcast broadcast, just find us on YouTube on Saturdays at 10 a.m. approximately JST. So it's between like 10 and 11 because sometimes we come in like 10:50, 10:30. So yeah, find us over there every Saturday. If you want to watch it live, in addition to listening to the podcast as well. Guys, have a wonderful evening, morning, noon, or night. Until next time, I've been Ranzo, and this is
Janique.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye, guys.